2:00 p.m. Changsheng Group Headquarters. A special meeting site has already been set up. The meeting room, with windows fully sealed. All curtains drawn. The lights are bright, and on the stage, the people seated all have unusually serious expressions. The fact that these people appear at the same venue and sit on the podium together is, in itself, an incredible thing, because their identities ensure that it is impossible for them to attend the same meeting. Mayor He Gesheng, Director of the State-Owned Asset Supervision and Administration Commission, Zhan Hongyun, General Manager of Changsheng Group, Ding Lizhang, Captain of the Criminal Investigation Team, Shen Yinchuan. 3 people at the door. Fengcheng's detective, Lin Ziasu. Miaozheng's Meow Girl, Yixing. Qianlong King, Blue Demon. He Gesheng's gaze sweeps across the venue, feeling complex inside. Today's meeting, his attendance as mayor, unbeknownst to the secretary. Changsheng Group's general manager's presence, unbeknownst to the chairman. The captain of the criminal investigation team's presence, unbeknownst to the director or the minister. This itself emphasizes the uniqueness of the meeting. A special meeting, originally difficult to materialize, but based on the trust in Shen Yinchuan and the inexplicable trust in Lin Ziasu, he came. And he came in secret. Let's see what kind of answers these two present him. As he feels conflicted, Ding Lizhang feels even more so. He's still wavering over what Lin Ziasu just said to him. What Lin Ziasu just told him was, the research confidentiality mechanism many people interpret as adding locks at the entrance continually, yet they overlook the people inside the door. A clever hunter will empty the person inside your locked space directly. Upon hearing this, Ding Lizhang's inner unease instantly amplified to the maximum. The various collaboration doubts between Kixing Group and Changsheng Group surged up waves of uncertainty in his mind. Just saying if Kixing Group truly is the base camp of the 9-headed snake, what kind of storm would that be? No matter how much inner turmoil leaps inside him, he has no way to deepen the conversation with Lin Ziasu and can only wait for the grand drama to unfold. At the door, Lin Ziasu took out his phone to check the time. Everyone's eyes fixated on him, including He Gesheng. Lin Ziasu, however, gave his gaze to Yixing. He nodded slightly. Yixing raised her hand and took out a small bottle. When the bottle opened, a fragrant aroma spread out, even reaching the people seated on the podium. It's time. Footsteps echoed in the corridor. More than 100 members of the Changsheng Group's research team filed in. They had just received instructions from the general manager's office to attend the meeting. The general manager will personally elaborate on the comprehensive plan for biological engineering control. No one wants to miss this plan, because of the special status of this general manager. He is the chief scientist of Changsheng Group. He is an authority in domestic biological engineering control. With the issuance of his comprehensive plan, the research direction of Changsheng Group will be set, and whoever can grasp the key areas in his plan, delving deep into those areas, will have bigger development opportunities and achieve greater results. Therefore, no matter how busy these researchers are, whether they care about profit, reputation, or only care about the value of their work and nothing more, they will all put aside their tasks to attend to this class. This is called not just pulling the cart with your head down, but also keeping an eye on the road ahead. The general manager's planning document is the road they need to see. Upon entering the meeting room, they smelled the fragrance in the room, and someone joked that the conference service team is becoming more attentive, even spraying perfume in the meeting room. But when they looked up, they were dumbfounded. The people seated on the podium. Mayor He, Director Zhan from the State-Owned Asset Supervision and Administration Commission. Isn't today supposed to be Mr. Ding's lecture? However, after a moment of thought, it seemed plausible that the biological engineering control plan is a major issue, and it seems normal for the mayor and the leading shareholder, the State-Owned Asset Supervision and Administration Commission, to be concerned. Personnel continued to arrive, and the 100-plus seats below gradually filled up. The meeting was scheduled for 2:15 p.m. Shortly after 2:00 p.m., everyone was present. Ding Lizhang lightly nodded, signaling that everyone was there, and Lin Ziasu gently waved a hand, closing the meeting room door. He walked from the back of the room, step by step onto the podium. The scientists sitting below were all dumbfounded. Who is this person? So young, is he giving a lecture? Is he going to waste everyone's time? Linzai Asu reached the podium and came to the edge of the podium in front of Mayor He's table. Ladies and gentlemen of the Changsheng Group's research team, today's meeting topic is the future plan of bioengineering control. Do you know what is the core of current scientific advancement? Everyone frowned collectively, not because they couldn't answer his question, but who was he? Does he really think he's a professor? Could he question the scientists present? Linzai Asu said, "Science is people-oriented. The greatest core is talent. You are the talent of the Changsheng Group. But do you know that because you are talent, you have become targets for foreign forces to infiltrate? You might have already been poisoned by the enemy." The whole room was shocked. Almost everyone's expressions changed simultaneously. Linzai Asu took a breath and slowly added, "Today's meeting was convened under the guise of Mr. Ding's lecture, but the real purpose isn't a lecture, it's detection. The lecture isn't a lecture, it's just detection." The two sitting in the back row glanced at each other, one whispering, "Why make detection so mysterious?" "Yeah, detection is quite normal. We conduct it all the time ourselves. Just send a notice and we can arrange some time to go through it. My experiment is only halfway done." Indeed, as members of the research team, regular disinfection and physical examination are regulations. Everyone was accustomed to it. They were long used to it. Their words were very soft, theoretically inaudible from the podium, but Linzai Asu heard them. "I hear someone down below saying detection doesn't need to be so mysterious. Actually, everybody thinks so, right?" The middle-aged man in the back row stood up. "Yes, I said that. That's also what I think." "It's because you don't know what's implanted in you," Linzai Asu said. "There's a kind of goo worm called the life soul goo that infiltrates the brain with a dormancy period of up to 10 years. It is a life form, not a chip, so normal detection can't find it. Moreover, it doesn't release toxins, so blood tests and genetic analysis won't detect it. What's deadly is, a strand of special aura can activate this goo worm. Once activated, it can destroy your brain entirely in 1 second. There's such a thing." That middle-aged man's face changed. Everyone in the room, faces all changed. For a moment, discussions erupted. Linzai Asu said, "When everyone entered the conference room, did you smell a peculiar fragrance?" The crowd suddenly fell silent. "Oh my God, he just mentioned a special aura could activate the goo worms, and everyone smelled a peculiar fragrance upon entering the conference room. Did you activate the goo worms? How dare you?" Wait, no one fell suddenly ill. Linzai Asu laughed. "Let me share 2 pieces of good news. First, the fragrance everyone smelled is the antidote we've specifically researched. As long as you're in the current environment, even if the enemy tries to activate the goo worms in your brain, they can't." On the podium, He Geisheng gently exhaled a breath. He didn't actually know a lot, and attended simply out of trust in Shen Yinchuan and Linzai Asu. Linzai Asu's initial words were heart-stopping. His heart leapt to his throat. Until these words were spoken, he finally breathed a sigh of relief, understanding the true core of today's meeting. The essence of the meeting wasn't about what was said, but about what was arranged beforehand. "Second piece of good news," Linzai Asu said. "I have special methods to extract the goo worms from your brains, allowing you to see firsthand whether you're affected." He turned and picked up a stack of white paper from the table behind him. With a swish, the white paper flew toward the 100 or so people below like it had wings, landing accurately in front of every participant. Shen Yinchuan's eyes sparkled. Was this the true cheese flying flower picking leaves? The people below didn't understand. What was this for? "Everyone prepare, slow your breathing, remain seated, chin towards the paper, and don't move regardless of any peculiar feeling." Everyone simultaneously held this awkward posture. "Yixiang, let's begin," Linzai Asu said to Yixiang. Yixiang took a deep breath, extended her hand, and took out a snow-white little turtle. Holding the turtle in her hand, she seemed like a fairy walking out of the immortal world. She stepped forward, and suddenly a hazy white light emanated from the little turtle as she walked towards the central aisle, growing ever brighter. Suddenly, a worm crawled out from the nostril of a middle-aged man beside her, followed by another one from the other nostril. "Ah!" Someone caught sight of it and exclaimed. "Quiet," He Geisheng spoke, standing abruptly. Clink! The 2 peculiar worms fell onto the white paper, unmoving. Almost simultaneously, 2 worms crawled from the nostrils of the person beside him as well, falling onto the white paper, unmoving. The white turtle in Yixiang's hand emitted light like water waves, radiating from her as the center, spreading the terrifying anomaly throughout the venue. 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. In the blink of an eye, out of the 112 people, except for 7 or 8, all others had these peculiar worms crawling from their nostrils. The room was as quiet as night. No one spoke, but trembling sounds emerged as these scientists trembled unconsciously. As scientists, they refused to believe in ghosts and gods. But today, it was as if they themselves starred in a ghostly and divine blockbuster. Over 2 inches long, the worms crawled from their nostrils onto the paper before them. So clear, so real. After 10 minutes, with the fall of the last worm, the light from the white turtle gradually diminished and finally disappeared. The body of the 100+ people leaned backward, endeavoring to distance themselves from the worms on the white paper. Yixiang stepped through, collecting the worms from the paper one by one, placing them into a glass bottle. Everyone took a deep breath, the color slowly returning to their faces. What on earth is this?" a researcher asked. Lin Ziasu raised a hand, pointing to a person below. "Can you answer this question?" Everyone turned their gaze toward that person. This person sat in the 3rd row, exhibiting a very odd state, while others were flustered and disbelieving. He seemed excited. Chapter 361. Chapter 361, the mastermind behind the scenes revealed. This man suddenly stood up. "I know it's him, Li Yubin." His finger pointed directly at the back of someone's head in the front row. The person he was pointing at was actually the deputy director of the Changsheng Group's research department, Li Yubin. The 2 visits from Changsheng Group to Kixing Group were led by him. Li Yubin suddenly stood up, almost knocking over the table in front of him. He was one of the 7 or 8 people who didn't have goo worms crawling out of his nostrils. "Sun Jun, what do you mean?" The person accusing him was named Sun Jun. Sun Jun said, "You came to me 7 days ago, asking me to steal information from my field and give it to you. I didn't agree. You used a certain fragrance that made my brain ache intensely. You told me that there are worms in my brain and that you could kill me at any time if I didn't listen to you. Did that happen?" As soon as he said this, Shen Yinchuan's eagle-like sharp eyes locked onto Li Yubin. A blue shadow moved even faster, reaching Li Yubin almost imperceptibly. It was Blue Demon. Li Yubin's face changed dramatically. "Nonsense, I never said that. At that time, my life was in your hands. I didn't dare to resist you and could only say that the information wasn't complete yet. Now, do you think I'm still afraid of you? It was you. Since you used coercive methods on me, you must have done it to others too. Perhaps you've already succeeded." Upon hearing this, everyone's faces changed, including Lin Ziasu. The last piece of the puzzle in his heart was completed. Once activated, the life soul goo is ferociously deadly, killing directly with no chance of saving even by a Daluo golden immortal. This is a deadly method. However, it's not a good method for forcing submission. There must be a way to semi-activate this goo worm. What does it mean to be semi-activated? It is to let a person know their life is in someone else's hands without actually harming their life, allowing control over them. Sure enough, there is such a method. Being able to use another fragrance to semi-activate the goo worm, causing piercing headaches, making the person believe the other can control their life. Sun Jun became the key figure to uncover this layer of the inside story. He could become the key figure because Li Yubin tried to take measures against him, but failed. If he had succeeded, Sun Jun wouldn't have dared to step out and uncover the truth, fearing he betrayed national secrets. Today, seeing the goo worm coming out of the skull with his own eyes, the shackles on him were lifted, and he naturally fought back immediately. This is human nature. Under his heavenly Tao wisdom eye, those whose expressions changed were evidently in another situation. They might have already sold secrets. They were conflicted. They were relieved that their shackles were lifted, yet they feared the issue continuing and leading to punishment for selling secrets. With a swish, Li Yubin suddenly sprang up. This bounce was as fast as lightning. He is a genetic person. In an instant, he reached the window. The next moment, he would crash through and escape. However, a blue flash occurred, and Li Yubin, who had just reached the window, seemed electrified by high voltage, rebounding, as Blue Demon appeared ghostly at the window. Li Yubin raised his hand sharply, revealing a small bottle in his palm. He held the small bottle high. "Let me go, or I'll activate the hidden goo worms in everyone here, and everyone will die." His voice was frantic and hoarse. He Gaosheng tensed up completely. "Are there still hidden goo worms?" he asked Shen Yinchuan. But how could Shen Yinchuan answer? He wasn't familiar with goo worms. For a moment, he couldn't ascertain if the man was bluffing. After all, with over 100 lives at stake, and the mysterious goo technique, no one could have certainty. If this bottle could indeed activate any undetected goo worms, causing the death of over 100 scientists, the cost would be immeasurable. At this moment, these 100 people unexpectedly became his hostages. Suddenly, it dimmed in front of Li Yubin. Lin Ziasu appeared in front of him. You listen to me clearly. There are still goo worms in these bodies. Don't push me to a dead end with no escape." Li Yubin retreated. The veins on his hand holding the small bottle bulged, and his forehead was covered in sweat. He had been exposed. There was no way out. Yet he didn't want to be captured. Even if it was a bluff, he wanted to bluff a way out. Lin Ziasu made a sweeping motion, directly snatching the small bottle from Li Yubin's hand. With a flip of the hand, Li Yubin's legs and feet simultaneously broke. He collapsed limply. Everyone simultaneously breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Ziasu picked up the small bottle, shook it, slowly opened it, and sniffed it. It's this smell." Everyone's faces turned white. Li Yubin, desperate, had used this small bottle as a bargaining chip, threatening to open the bottle and perish together with everyone. Lin Ziasu snatched it over, lifting the lethal threat from everyone's minds, but turned around and opened the bottle. If these scientists had heart conditions, they probably would have had an attack. However, nothing happened. It turned out the fragrance wasn't enough to offset the antidote spread throughout the meeting room. "Chief Shen," Lin Ziasu said, "I once promised you that I would let you witness the mystery of the demon sound. Now it's time for a demonstration." Shen Yinchuan's eyes widened. He rubbed his thick finger on his head. The head-scratching gesture was quite distinctive. Yixiang stepped forward, holding a small transparent bottle. It was empty. Lin Ziasu took the small bottle, slightly tilted Li Yubin's bottle, poured out a drop of light blue liquid into the empty bottle, which immediately filled with a faint gas. Lin Ziasu said, "The antidote in the conference room is enough to prevent the life soul goo from being activated, but if you place the life soul goo into this specialized activating liquid, it will still be activated. Let me demonstrate for everyone, then you'll understand how it wreaks havoc in your brain if Li Yubin activates the life soul goo." A life soul goo, freshly crawling out of a scientist's nostril, was taken out from another bottle of Yixiang's and was placed into the transparent tube where a drop of light blue liquid had been dripped, under everyone's gaze. Once it entered, something strange happened. A soft hum sounded, and the scales on the life soul goo's body suddenly stood up, vibrating violently while darting in all directions. It lasted merely 2 to 3 seconds. The vibration ended. The life soul goo underwent corpse dissection, turning into a drop of pus. Everyone's foreheads were sweaty, and their backs were completely drenched. All present were knowledgeable individuals. They all knew if this bug were to activate in the brain, their brain would instantly turn into mush. This was the method by which the life soul goo killed. Shen Yinchuan reached out, taking off a pair of glasses from his nose, his eyes shining brightly. "According to my preliminary judgment, the injuries caused by demon sound match perfectly with the vibration path of this life soul goo just now. More critically, after the life soul goo vibrates, it turns into pus, also reasonably explaining why, after demon sound, no foreign objects could be found. I have recorded the video, and will immediately hand it over to the Special Cases team for further comparison." He Gaosheng's eyes were also shining brightly. His gaze turned to Ding Lijong, who was baffled and had remained silent throughout. "Mr. Ding, your son-in-law, is truly a genius. Congratulations." Ding Lijong suddenly felt something strange swell up within him. Pride, contentment, and a bit of confusion. My son-in-law suddenly appearing in Jiangcheng with 2 beauties, especially this one named Yixiang, who gazed at him with starry eyes. His daughter was currently far away in Yangcheng. "Dear daughter, pay a little more attention. This son-in-law is too special. Even the mayor, who harbored a deep grudge against him, was thoroughly impressed. If you don't pay attention, he might truly be taken away by someone else." Lin Ziasu gazed at Li Yubin, who was limp on the ground. "Speak, who is behind you?" Li Yubin was trembling all over, utterly dejected. for having exhausted all his trump cards yet to no avail. "Speak," a loud shout from Shen Yinchuan. The criminal investigation team chief's presence carried authority. His shout seemed to shatter the last dam within Li Yubin. "It's Ziatian, it's Ziatian he. Ziatian." The Changsheng Group's research team was almost entirely annihilated. The mastermind behind it was that notorious playboy Ziatian. The persona he projected was that of a wealthy young master, unrestrained and extravagant, envied by the common folk as a national idol, yet scorned as an imbecile by true elites. However, everyone has another side. His other side was the manipulator behind this vicious plan. He was the first achievement of Lin Ziaosu in planning this meeting, and the breakthrough point in the dire situation ahead. Blue Demon abruptly turned back at the window. "Little Sue, let's go." "Let's go." Three figures exited the conference room. In the air, a flying car swirled and landed before them. Lin Ziaosu, Yixiang, and Blue Demon soared into the sky. The Qianlong arrow had already left the string, pointing towards Yancheng. The conference room was as quiet as night. He Gaisheng stood up on the platform. "Everyone, remain sealed in this conference room, hands on the table. Anyone sending out any information will be immediately arrested." With a swish, everyone's hands were placed where others could see them. This was the confidentiality regulation. The Qianlong arrow off the string was a matter of great importance. No one was allowed to leak any information. Shen Yinchuan also stood up, his eagle-like eyes sweeping across the room. The situation inside the conference room was known only to those inside. However, the Qianlong flying car's takeoff from Changsheng Group still alerted one person, Lei Ziaojun. Lei Ziaojun, the chairman of Changsheng Group. Lei Ziaojun walked to the window, watching the flying car soar away. Frowning, he slowly turned his gaze to the secretary beside him. "Where's the flying car from?" The secretary shook his head. "I don't know. Could it be Mr. Ding's doing? The general manager's office just issued a meeting notice this morning." "What meeting?" "The meeting topic is comprehensive planning of bioengineering." "What comprehensive planning?" Lei Ziaojun's face darkened. "I haven't even seen this plan. What is old Ding up to?" Such was the discipline. At Changsheng Group, he was the chairman, Ding Lijiang was the general manager. A general manager could decide on ordinary matters, like holding a meeting or something, without necessarily consulting him. But it depends on what the meeting is about. What is comprehensive planning? Its direction. Such a major issue, and you don't consult me, the chairman. Isn't that a bit too much? "Call Mr. Ding and have him come to my office," Lei Ziaojun said. "Yes." The secretary immediately called, but the phone rang for a long time with no answer. The secretary said, "Mr. Ding is hosting a meeting. Perhaps he didn't hear it." "Didn't hear," Lei Ziaojun said. "I'm going to the venue." Chapter 362. Chapter 362, Facing Kixing Group's Zia Zhonglan. "Chairman," the secretary panicked. "How about I go instead? If you head directly to the venue, it would affect." "I'm concerned about the impact, yet he is. The comprehensive plan was thrown out without review. Who does he think he is? Is he still a university professor, capable of such scholarly idealism?" Lei Ziaojun waved his hand and strode out of the chairman's office. With a stern face, he entered the elevator, heading straight to the 13th floor. "Chairman," people he met along the way bowed sequentially. Lei Ziaojun didn't even glance at them, advancing forcefully until he reached the meeting room door, extending his hand and pushing it open powerfully. As the door was pushed open, Lei Ziaojun was stunned. His secretary behind him was also stunned. In the meeting room, there was no lecture by Ding Lijiang, only an atmosphere so serious it was suffocating. On the podium sat Ding Lijiang, but not only him. Mayor He Gaisheng, Zhan Hongyun from the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission, and even the captain of the criminal investigation team in uniform were present. Below, more than 100 researchers placed their hands on the table. All eyes turned simultaneously towards Lei Ziaojun. "Mayor He," Lei Ziaojun took a deep breath. "Come in and close the door," He Gaisheng said in a deep voice. Lei Ziaojun entered the office and the secretary followed, shutting the door. Her face was completely pale. "Chairman Lei, I didn't plan to confront you so soon." He Gaisheng leaned slightly forward. "But since you insisted on heading towards this collision, we can only reveal all." "Mayor He, what on earth is happening?" Lei Ziaojun was at a loss. "Director Zhan, please explain," He Gaosheng said. Zhan Hongyun slowly stood up. Chairman Lei, the cooperation agreement you signed with the Kixing Group has triggered a very serious incident. The vice president of the technology department, whom you personally promoted, Li Yubin, is the leader of an overseas organization. Your in-law Zia Zhongliang's son, your daughter's boyfriend, is a major suspect. In light of this, you are deemed unfit to continue as chairman of Changsheng Group. I will immediately call for a shareholders meeting to relieve you of your chairman duties. In one sentence, Lei Ziajian was removed from the chairmanship of Changsheng Group. This is the power of the largest shareholder. Because this largest shareholder holds 51% of the shares, he has absolute control over the company, and even if all the other shareholders oppose, the largest shareholder can pass any resolution. Therefore, what Zhan Hongyun said about requesting a shareholders' meeting decision was, in fact, already decided. From this moment, Lei Ziajian was no longer the chairman. Lei Ziajian felt ice cold all over. The pride and confidence with which he left the chairman's office turned into dejection. He had the justification to accuse Ding Lijiang, because releasing the group's most core strategic plan without his approval as chairman was a serious violation of the company's bylaws. Now that justification was gone, because he was no longer the chairman. The position was not the most important thing. What mattered was that Lei Ziajian was in trouble of unparalleled magnitude. Shen Yinchuan also stood up. Lei Ziajian, please sit to the left and keep your hands where we can see them to avoid any misunderstandings. The same goes for that secretary. This time, the list of those confined in the meeting room increased by 2 more. Eyes were cast into the sky, looking towards the Qianlong flying car. The flying car shot like an arrow, heading straight for Yancheng. Blue Demon's face lost its customary charming smile, replaced by seriousness. Yixian was a bit tense too, as evidenced by the sweat on her hands. Among the 3 of them, only Lin Ziasu remained calm. He stretched out his hand, holding Yixiang's hand. As Yixiang turned her face towards him, she gave him a gentle smile, soothing her nervousness effectively. My people report that Zia Tian has just entered the Kixing Group headquarters, together with his father Zia Zhongliang, Blue Demon said. Good, Lin Ziasu said. Directly storming the Kixing Group headquarters, Blue Demon's eyes flickered slightly. I understand your meaning. At this moment we can't ascertain what role the Kixing Group plays in all this. Procedurally, we can't act directly, but that's all right. We won't violate procedures. Today, we aren't targeting Zia Zhongliang or investigating the Kixing Group. We just need Zia Tian, Lin Ziasu said. I'm not worried about Zia Tian or Zia Zhongliang, but rather that startling the enemy might introduce uncontrollable variables, Blue Demon said. Blue Demon is the Qianlong king. She naturally understood the danger of the situation before them. The issue of the life soul goo became clear in Jiangcheng, turning the worst fears into reality. Within one Changsheng group, over 100 scientists have been afflicted by the life soul goo. Across all of Daxia, how many could there be? This is a figure that sends chills down the spine at the mere thought. The enemy is hidden while they are exposed. Once the enemy is startled, there are a myriad of possibilities. Each possibility could cause irreversible damage across all fronts of Daxia. No one knows to which shore this storm will sweep. On the battlefield, she had feared no one. In the spy games she controlled, she was always the rule maker. Everyone was a piece on her chessboard, and she feared nothing. However, the perilous situation today, if it were a spy game, was not under her control. Therefore, this formidable master of the battlefield and the espionage paths, the reigning Qianlong king, felt no sense of assurance in her heart. To trigger uncontrollable variables, your worry is justified, but King Lanshan, you need to look at the problem from another angle. The variable itself already exists, and it is inherently uncontrollable. It's not because of us lifting this lid that it becomes uncontrollable. Blue Demon nodded slowly. Yes, things have already deteriorated to the extreme. Even if we lift the lid, it won't make it worse. We need to be prepared. This upheaval is bound to bring pain, and it is destined to have sacrifices. Lin Ziasu's gaze was cast to the heavens, but you also have to accept a fact. Currently on Daxia country's soil, across various battlefields, those who have been implanted with the life soul goo in reality already have one foot stepping into the ghost gate or an abyss of eternal damnation. If we don't make a decisive move, they all will be beyond redemption. This statement from Lin Ziasu, though light, was like clearing the skies to reveal the sun, sweeping away all of Blue Demon's inner conflicts. The fact is already there. Those affected by the life soul goo are either going to die or become undercover traitors planted by nine-headed snake on various fronts. No matter which path they choose, in fact, they are already beyond redemption. Blue Demon took a deep breath. So, we should not be constrained by how many people will die, but should strive for how many people can be saved. Lin Zaiasu silently grimaced. It could hardly be called a smile, but there was a bit of relief. Overall, Blue Demon is considered to be adaptable. Standing in the position of Qianlong King, she is definitely considered adaptable. Qianlong members have been indoctrinated with a sense of duty that surpasses everything. It is indeed difficult for them to be adaptable. Each of them is actually an extreme perfectionist, always eager to ensure that the innocent do not get hurt in any crisis. In terms of personal conduct, this is undoubtedly very good. However, in terms of handling matters, it inevitably restricts them. Under normal circumstances, it might be fine, but when facing a major crisis, once you have the mindset of being constrained, it can lead to the most terrifying outcomes. The more afraid you are, the more emboldened the enemy becomes. The more scared you are of causing harm, the more harm you often receive. We've arrived, Lin Zaiasu said. Beneath the flying car was Yangcheng. The destination was the coastal area to the south, the headquarters tower of Kixing Group. The flying car directly landed in the company's internal parking lot. This landing was unnoticed by others, but it alerted the security department of Kixing Group. The security department, responsible for safety and external flying car landings, managed these high-tech companies with entry protocols. Not just any random outsiders could enter freely. Any flying car wishing to bypass the gatekeeper and courtyard walls to land directly inside the company must undergo verification or file for permission. However, this landed flying car had no filed permission and had not been verified. The security department's head, Li Qingyang, did not delay even for a moment, arriving with 3 people in front of the flying car the moment it stabilized. His hand raised sharply, extremely stern. "Who are you?" In a whoosh, the 3 behind him simultaneously spread out in a severely disciplined combat formation. The security department personnel were all genetic people, especially in the headquarters of a large group, where every member was an elite among genetic people, receiving lucrative salaries and constantly trained to maintain the best combat readiness. The door of the flying car slid open silently. Inside, someone slowly raised their hand. In her hand was a token. A snow-white token, crafted from pure silver, with a lifelike golden dragon on its silver surface. On its front were 2 characters, Qianlong. A flip of the token revealed an ancient character on its reverse, Order. Hidden Dragon Order. A token that only a Qianlong king would have. Once displayed, its intimidation is unparalleled, and the higher up someone is, the more they understand its intimidation. Li Qingyang might not know the difference between a hidden dragon order and a Qianlong gold medal, but he could recognize the characters. He recognized the Qianlong characters, his eyes suddenly fixed. Qianlong. Qianlong is handling this case. Everyone must abide by the order, Blue Demon said coldly. Do you understand? Understood, Li Qingyang replied. You take us to the chairman's office. Blue Demon pointed at Li Qingyang. The chairman needs an appointment, leader. Can I make a call to report this? No need to report, just go. Blue Demon's face sank. Li Qingyang led the way, followed closely by Blue Demon, Lin Zaiasu and Yixing. They went directly into the headquarters office building. The headquarters office building is heavily guarded, with facial recognition and iris recognition everywhere, but with Li Qingyang leading the way, there was naturally no problem. They boarded the elevator and reached the 7th floor, where a gentle ding sound indicated arrival. The 7th floor is the space of the chairman Zia Zhongliang. The entire floor belongs to him. There is a private reception room, a private garden, a tea room, a meeting room, and even a swimming pool. The pool is on the left side, half enclosed and half transparent. As they walked through the corridor here, Yixing vaguely saw a bit of the pool's scenery, leaving her completely astonished. No wonder she was surprised. In fact, anyone would be. This is a true metropolis with a population of millions, where land is incredibly valuable. If someone here manages to own a 10-square-meter little room, they're considered successful, yet Zia Zhongliang has a garden and a swimming pool. Owning such things at ground level is enviable, and moving them to a high-rise is unimaginable. This is the true prominent business figure, and can only be a prominent business figure in the private sector. Even the heads of state-owned enterprises are not allowed such extravagance. Chapter 363. Chapter 363. Wing Blade appears, Xia Tian dies. A corridor in front leads to an office. The corridor is designed extraordinarily strange, with glass all around. Walking on it feels like being in the sky, and the chairman's office at the other end resembles a heavenly palace. 4 people guard the corridor. Each of them is a genetic master. These are Xia Zhongliang's personal bodyguards. Each one has skills on par with Li Qingyang, the head of the security department. Old Li, these 3 are. One bodyguard squinted and slowly stood up. Qianlong, Li Qingyang said. The bodyguard's eyes suddenly widened. The other 3 bodyguards stood up simultaneously with a swishing sound. So it's Qianlong, the bodyguard said. Please wait a moment, I will report to the chairman immediately. Stay where you are, Blue Demon said in a deep voice. No need to report. As soon as the 8 words were spoken, she took the lead, passing through the glass corridor, directly reaching the heavenly palace. With a wave of her hand, the door to the chairman's office swung open. Inside the office, a man about 50 years old looked up from behind the desk. This man had a hoarse face and slender eyes. The shrewdness from decades of fighting in the business world seemed to have become etched on his face, forever present before everyone. He is Xia Zhongliang, chairman of Kixing Group, a self-made figure like Li Chengsheng in the past. After Li Chengsheng's downfall, some hailed him as the representative figure of the new era of private enterprise. Xia Zhongliang frowned slightly. You all. With a swish, Blue Demon flipped the hidden dragon order. A golden dragon on a silver background rolled in front of him. Qianlong case handling. Just 4 words, and the business tycoon able to command storms in the business world suddenly stood up. His face changed. 3 later, please sit. No one sat down. A beauty standing against the wall took a step forward, with a captivating smile, and poured tea for them. This was not a real person, this was a robot. The secretary of the chairman of Kixing Group is a robot. This was Blue Demon's first impression. Having a robot as a secretary is also quite intriguing. Generally, a big boss wouldn't choose a robot as a secretary, but a real young woman in her 20s who understands people and clothes well. Choosing a robot as a secretary means either the person is in charge of a state enterprise, avoiding style issues this way, or the chairman has too many secrets and trusts no real person. The one in front of them is likely the latter. These considerations flashed quickly in the mind of this Qianlong king, pinpointing one critical question: where is Xia Tian? When Lin Ziasu and others held the meeting at Changsheng Group, the moment they got the keyword Xia Tian, her subsequent plan was already initiated. A team is currently in Yangcheng. They immediately started surveillance on Xia Tian. The news they sent was, Xia Tian went to Kixing Group's headquarters and entered the chairman's office. However, when they arrived, there was only Xia Zhongliang in the chairman's office, no Xia Tian. Could the intelligence be wrong? Lin Ziasu's eyes slightly shifted, landing on Xia Zhongliang's face. Chairman Xia, we are here today for your son Xia Tian. Where is he? Xia Tian, why are you looking for him? Xia Zhongliang was very surprised. Don't ask me questions, just answer my question, Lin Ziasu said. He should be at his Xiaoshan technology company, right? If you'd like, I'll accompany the 3 leaders to his company to find him, Xia Zhongliang said. Lin Ziasu's face darkened. Is Chairman Xia trying to lead us away to give Xia Tian a chance to escape? Xia Zhongliang's face also suddenly darkened. What do you mean? Lin Ziasu stepped forward. With a swish, 4 figures simultaneously shifted, blocking his way. Xia Zhongliang said coldly, even when Qianlong handles a case, there must be a process. Falsely accusing others and acting recklessly is not the principle of Qianlong case handling. The 4 in front were imposing, but in Lin Ziasu's eyes it seemed as if he didn't notice them at all. His gaze lifted, straight over the 4 and directly at Xia Zhongliang. Chairman Xia, I actually already know where Xia Tian is, but I still want to give you a chance to prove your innocence. Clearly, you missed that chance. As soon as the words fell, he took a step forward. The 4 in front were simultaneously shaken back with a boom. He was already beside Xia Zhongliang, reaching out to grab Xia Zhongliang's right hand. The right hand moved, and Xia Zhongliang's thumb pressed on an edge of the desk. Silently, the wall behind Xia Zhongliang parted, revealing another room. The 4 bodyguards were now behind Lin Zaiasu, but faced with the suddenly opened hidden door, they were all dumbfounded. Zia Zhongliang's face changed. Blue Demon took a step forward, passing through the door. Lin Zaiasu withdrew his hand to grab Yixiang's hand, and also passed through the door. Inside the room, there was no one either. However, under his time-space reversal, a familiar figure quickly tracked was down. Zia Tian. Zia Tian had opened a door on the other side of this room and already left. The time he left was exactly when they entered the chairman's office. Altogether, it delayed less than 2 minutes, and Zia Tian escaped. However, with Lin Zaiasu having already located him, where could he possibly escape to? Lin Zaiasu reached out, opened the door, and there was an elevator in front of them. The 3 immediately entered the elevator, directly to the -1 level. The -1 level is the parking lot. Lin Zaiasu reversed time, quickly tracking a car. This car had already sped to the exit of the underground garage, 300 meters away from them. There, Lin Zaiasu pointed. With a swoosh, the blue demon by his side suddenly transformed into a blue light shadow, moving faster than a car. Lin Zaiasu reached out, picked up Yixiang, and the next moment, wind whistled in Yixiang's ears. It only took a few seconds for them to exit the parking lot. 200 meters away, that ostentatious Neo sports car had already turned onto the road, speeding towards the overpass. The blue demon's face darkened. 101 intercept the car. She was issuing an interception order to her people, hiding Dragon Eye and passing the car's features onto the Qianlong 101 tasked with the operation. There were signs that, despite Zia Zhongliang's cover, and although Zia Tian had gained the advantage for escape, it was still a pipe dream to escape from under Qianlong's nose. However, at this moment, Lin Zaiasu suddenly looked up at the sky, his face instantly serious. The blue demon's eyes also lifted suddenly, her face changed. Wing blade. Above the sky, a light shadow. The speed of the light shadow was beyond imagination for a flying device. Wing blade slicing through the air, shooting towards the ground. One side of the wing spread like a knife from the sky. The Neo in front flashed with flames, split in 2. The 2 halves of the car flew high, crashing down from the overpass. Wing blade ascended again, a sonic boom disappearing beyond the sky. On the road, several cars braked urgently, a chaotic mess. Countless people screamed loudly, an entire avenue in chaos. Damn it, silencing witnesses. The blue demon's face was dark as water. The 3 rushed to the site of the car crash as fast as they could, only to witness the tragic scene before them. The luxury Neo limited edition sports car was shattered, a huge fire blazing, among the flames a headless corpse vaguely visible, the head not destroyed by the car explosion, but directly cut off by the wing blade. The car's damage was the aftereffect of this. Yixiang clutched Lin Zaiasu's hand tightly, her face pale. The blue demon's face was grim. Wing blade. Actually deployed wing blade to silence, so cleanly executed, it shows that Zia Tian must be a key piece in the opponent's game. Lin Zaiasu gazed up at the sky, his eyes empty. The blue demon felt this was a kind of defeat, lightly sighed. Don't think too much, we've touched the opponent's weak spot, the opponent will naturally. Lin Zaiasu's gaze returned. Silence by killing, thinking they can kill to end it, not so easy, to Zaishan Technology Company. Okay, the blue demon blinked. A flying car descended from the sky. The 3 entered the flying car, in which there were 3 others, one of whom was extremely short, not particularly noticeable, but the blue demon introduced this as Qianlong 101. Lin Zaiasu's gaze fell on 101's face. Slowly a smile emerged. I've heard your nickname before. My nickname isn't very pleasant to outsiders, but I have no qualms. 101 laughed. National Guardian Dog. A dog itself is a synonym for loyalty. Bestowed with the title of National Guardian, I consider it the highest honor. He was the so-called National Guardian Dog Qianlong 101, integrated with canine genes, best at tracking scents. Then shall we join forces to uncover the secrets behind Zaishan Technology Company? Lin Zaiasu reached out, lightly shook hands with him. Detective Lin's divine detective skills. I analyzed every classic case the first time. I must say, in this field of investigation, I am far beneath you. Today is just like field training. 101 said. I have already made arrangements at Zaishan Technology Company. Heavenly King, please. Detective Lin and this young lady, please. It must be said, This National Guardian Dog 101 doesn't have an impressive appearance. However, his every action and word was impressive. The six took the Qianlong flying car to Zhaishan Technology Company. This time, there was no need for the Blue Demon to show the hidden dragon order. The police badge of Yangcheng was enough. Yes, the Yangcheng police were already on guard outside Zhaishan Technology Company. Once the flying car arrived, they went straight in. The news of Xia Tian's death had just reached Zhaishan Technology Company. People inside were already in chaos, the PR manager leading them, her pretty face completely devoid of color, body trembling. Her voice trembled, calling the product manager, "Manager, Manager Zhang, come quickly, the police want to see you." The product manager, Manager Zhang, was much better, approaching with a smile. "Officers, is there something you need?" Everyone's eyes were on a person who didn't look like a cop, Lin Xiaosu. Lin Xiaosu's gaze swept over the chairman's office a few times, landed on Manager Zhang's face. "Manager Zhang, right? Take us to see your finished product workshop." Zhaishan Technology Company mainly dealt with only 3 kinds of products: SA special cold medicine, and 2 kinds of SA aftercare body repair drugs. It was almost born because of SA. In fact, it was established because of SA. An SA virus, rampant globally, gave birth to many corresponding companies. Those monitoring, those making special meds, almost each profited immensely. But Zhaishan Technology Company didn't seem to have hit the mark. Just as they started, the SA virus was demoted by the World Health Organization, given the name of the common cold. Common colds, the public was no longer alarmed at every mention. There was no longer any talk of special or not special. A company reliant on a specific virus had lost its opportunity for profit, so it fell into losses. With 500 million invested, it was reduced to a 1 billion valuation in 6 months. Everyone called it recklessness with wealth. However, the people inside the company didn't think so. They felt it was just the marketplace norm caused by deviating from the investment trend. The Blue Demon's opinion was different from the others. Chapter 364. Chapter 364, Confidential Exposure. She looked at the finished products stacked into a full wall in front of her, feeling deeply moved inside. Xia Tian, you could say he is a playboy. However, Xia Zhongliang is a shrewd figure in the business world. How could he not see the direction of investment? Saying that the son invests without the father knowing is even more impossible. All the startup capital was provided by Xia Zhongliang. Could he really not inquire in depth? Are the rumors of the world, the analysis of the company's insiders, possibly all wrong? Could the real answer be hidden within the grand scheme of the Life Soul Gu plan? Xia Zhongliang's intentions are not merely to indulge in wine. His investment in this company was never about making profits through the company itself. What he originally wanted was for the company to incur losses, showing a deficit on the books, but the Life Soul Gu virus manufactured by the company, hidden in the minds of elites from all fronts in Daxia. What he gains cannot be simply equated to a mere 5 billion in funds. This speculation is terrifying, because the target of her speculation is far beyond what Xia Tian alone can compare to. Xia Zhongliang, a nationally renowned private entrepreneur, his Kixing Group invests in various fields, already reaching a behemoth-level size in the business world. If this company is the 9-headed snake, it might be even scarier than the Changsheng Group. This is one aspect. Another, the Changsheng Group and Kixing Group are allied by marriage. If Kixing Group is the 9-headed snake, what role does Changsheng Group play in it? The intrigues on the business battlefield, she must admit, is not her forte. Let's see how Lin Xiaosu takes on his investigation. The ledger is placed in front of Lin Xiaosu. Storage receipts, shipment slips, sales invoices. From these complete documents, it seems that every account of Zhaishan Technology Company is transparent, with origins and destinations. Indeed, it is running at a loss, but it's a genuine loss. Lin Xiaosu slid his finger along, opening a box of finished products in front of him. The cold medicine inside all appeared normal. He took a lap around the warehouse, with 101 following the entire time, twitching his nose. The 2 top detectives found no sign of anything unusual. At least 101 had no discoveries. Every box of medicine was entirely identical to those sold on the market. They reached the end of the warehouse. Lin Xiaosu stopped and slowly turned back. "Manager Zhang, open up this wall in front." 101's eyes suddenly shone like autumn water. The deliberate smile on Manager Zhang's face suddenly became completely rigid. "Don't have any concerns," Lin Ziasu said. "Qianlong King is present. The electronic signal transmission is completely blocked. The chip in your brain can't be remotely detonated. As long as you can atone for your mistakes, your life can be spared." 101's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. Before meeting Lin Ziasu, he had heard many legends about him. The world claims his tracking skill is unparalleled. To be honest, 101 was not convinced. But based on decorum, based on the basic etiquette norms between comrades, when he first met Lin Ziasu, he was very humble in front of him. However, that doesn't mean he didn't have the thought of contesting or trying. Entering Zishan Technology Company, what Lin Ziasu saw was also what he saw. He found no clues. Yet Lin Ziasu had Manager Zhang open a seemingly unremarkable wall. This indicates that Lin Ziasu discovered a mystery that this national guardian dog didn't notice. And now, another word from Lin Ziasu shocked him to the core. The Manager Zhang in front of him has a chip in his brain. Only the nine-headed snake would implant chips in their subordinates' brains. Anyone with a chip is a mid-level member of the nine-headed snake. Why? High-level members cannot have it, they wouldn't agree. Low-level members don't need it because they don't know much. Only the mid-level members are targeted for chip implantation. If Manager Zhang truly has a chip in his brain, it means entering Zishan Technology Company. Their first catch was already achieved, catching a mid-level member of the nine-headed snake. There's no mechanism, no. Manager Zhang stepped back 2 steps, his face completely changing. However, he only managed 2 steps before he couldn't retreat any further, because Blue Demon was right behind him, emanating a feeling of eternal frost. Lin Ziasu smiled faintly. "I won't make it hard for you, let me do it." He gently raised his hand, tapping below a shelf. A keyboard suddenly appeared on the wall in front. "What's the password? You should at least say that," Lin Ziasu asked. Manager Zhang was drenched in sweat, flowing from his forehead to the corner of his mouth, his lips trembling lightly. "From now on, your every cooperation will become your lifeline as you rescue yourself. Believe me, your lifelines are not plentiful." Lin Ziasu's voice was calm. Manager Zhang finally moved forward, his fingers extending, inputting the password on this keyboard. The wall slowly parted. Inside, more finished products appeared, looking identical to those outside. However, Lin Ziasu reached out, opened a box, took out a batch, nodded slightly, and handed it to Blue Demon. Blue Demon flicked her fingers, and the pill opened in her palm, revealing a dormant life soul goo. Manager Zhang collapsed to the ground. The PR department beauty manager, who had followed them all the way, leaned against the door held by 2 police officers, unable to stand at all. Quickly circled around the pile of finished products and nodded lightly to Blue Demon, all of them. Blue Demon exhaled deeply. "Zhang Zihua, now it's time for your second test. Where is the sales channel for these drugs?" With one sentence, everyone became extremely tense. Because the answer to this question is key to understanding how much damage the life soul goo can cause. As long as he cooperates and reveals this sales channel, we can follow the clues to find the people who have already been implanted with the life soul goo and uncover the entire nerve-wracking chain. However, Zhang Zihua's response sent chills down everyone's spine. I don't know, I really don't know. These drugs, I handed them over to Chairman Zia with my own hands. As for where he used them, I don't know." "So where did you get the life soul goo from? Don't you dare say you don't know this either," Lin Ziasu asked. "I know the source of the life soul goo. It came from Myojiang and his name is Gushan," Zhang Zihua said. "Zia Tian told me that Gushan is dead, the source of the life soul goo is gone, so from now on, we have to carefully preserve these drugs as there will be fewer and fewer to use." Lin Ziasu and Yixiang exchanged a glance. "Gushan? This is someone they know. Gushan is someone they had worked together to kill. Now it's clear, the traces have disappeared with Zia Tian's death. The source is already cut off, severed by their own hands." "King Lanchin, we're leaving now," Lin Ziasu said. "All right, you guys go and rest," Blue Demon said. "You focus on what you're doing today, we will discuss some matters tomorrow," Lin Ziasu said. "Okay, I'll find you tomorrow," Blue Demon nodded slightly. Lin Ziasu and Yixiang walked side by side out. The workers outside were all standing against the wall, trembling. Whether they were accomplices was Lin Zaiasu's concern. As long as he located this pile of goods, he had already accomplished his task. This task weighed heavier than anything else. Do not underestimate the small pile of drugs in this warehouse. The number of pills here is in the millions. Just one pill can make an elite bow down. What about millions? This is enough to leave a superpower in tatters. Stepping out of the finished product workshop, the atmosphere outside was eerie. Police were guarding all around. Everyone in the company concentrated in the conference room. But there were 3 people at the workshop entrance. 3 people who didn't belong to Zaishan Technology Company. Lin Zaiasu had just seen them. They were all bodyguards of Kixing Group's chairman Zia Zhongliang. The person in front of them was none other than Zia Zhongliang. The Zia Zhongliang seen moments ago in the chairman's office was all high-spirited, but just over an hour later, he appeared in front of Lin Zaiasu as if he were a completely different person. His hair was a bit disheveled, his eyes were bloodshot, and his face was pale. When Lin Zaiasu passed in front of him, Zia Zhongliang slowly raised his head, staring at Lin Zaiasu. "Leader, can I ask a question?" Lin Zaiasu stopped, quietly looking at him without speaking. Zia Zhongliang inhaled deeply. "Zia Tian, what exactly happened?" "There are signs he was involved in a 9-headed snake criminal operation," Lin Zaiasu said. Zia Zhongliang shuddered, and a bodyguard beside him quickly supported him. Zia Zhongliang gently shook his hand, freed himself, and stood straight again. "What kind of criminal operation, can you tell me?" "Sorry, no," Lin Zaiasu said. "Earlier, you shouldn't have lied in front of us. If you hadn't delayed and cooperated with us to apprehend him within your group, he might not have been killed." I didn't mean it. I swear to God I did." Zia Zhongliang's voice was hoarse. "From a father's perspective, I always hoped to first understand what was happening. I just wanted to take some time to ask him what he did behind my back. From a human perspective, I can only advise you to mourn, but from a citizen's perspective, I must remind you, do not make similar mistakes again," Lin Zaiasu said. Zia Zhongliang stood there dazed. Lin Zaiasu and Yixiang walked past him, drifting away. By now the sun was setting. The seaside sunset always offers a different visual experience. The azure sea, a strip of golden dusk on the horizon, a few small boats returning under the setting sun. Seabirds flew low, street lights lit up. The boundary between the sea and land slowly blurred, as did the outline of Ding Ryushui's face. Beside her was Lei Zioya. Lin Zaiasu had told her when leaving to beware of everyone. And he specifically mentioned to beware of Lei Zioya. If Ding Ryushui had listened to him, she probably wouldn't have had 2 best friends, seaside stroll. In fact, after Lin Zaiasu left, Ding Ryushui and Lei Zioya were nearly inseparable. This could be considered as Ding Ryushui not heeding advice. However, from another perspective, it might not be considered as ignoring advice. Lin Zaiasu's words left an imprint in her heart. It's just that Lin Zaiasu underestimated Ding Ryushui's confidence. She pondered all her interactions with Lei Zioya, especially recent ones. She also vaguely developed a suspicion why every time there's something involving Zioya related to him, things always turn out to be perilous. The previous wedding murder case, if Lin Zaiasu weren't exceptionally skilled in detective work, he would have fallen in Jiangcheng. This time in Yangcheng, if she and Lin Zaiasu weren't strong enough, they might have died on that island. Is all of this really just coincidence? Lin Zaiasu has a pair of special eyes, detective eyes that can see things others cannot. He clearly suspected Lei Zioya. Then she'll take over the baton and attempt to find Lei Zioya's doubts. Chapter 365. Chapter 365, Ding Ryushui's close observation. In a few days, there was nothing unusual about Lei Zioya. At least, Ding Ryushui had to admit, she couldn't see anything unusual about her. The day after tomorrow is the opening ceremony of the expo. Lei Zioya smiled gently. "Ryushui, do you want to buy some jewelry?" Ding Ryushui didn't hesitate for a second and shook her head. "No." "Sister, you're really strange. Why don't you like the things girls usually like? You buy off-brand clothes, you ride in cars without brands. Aren't you afraid of embarrassing your Ding family?" "You're the strange one," said Ding Ryushui. "How many times have I told you? So-called brand names are just for people without money to show off. Do we need to put on a show? If I don't put on this show, will people in Jiangcheng think I'm poor? How bizarre." "Fine, fine, you're noble. I'm vulgar, all right. I just like being vulgar. I like dressing in things others could never afford in a lifetime. This time the gold award item, Zia Tian has already said he'll get it from me. Gold award. The expo hasn't even started and you already know where the gold award will go. Isn't that a bit of an insider trading thing? Ding Ryushui was quite shocked. I said gold award item, didn't specify which piece of jewelry would win the gold award. Ding Ryushui's eyes widened. You don't even know what the gold award is, yet you just have one principle, no matter what it is, as long as it wins the gold award you want it. Yes. Oh my, you're simply showing off for the sake of showing off. Isn't showing off normal for Zia Tian? Probably no one in Daxia doesn't know. Lei Zioya laughed. Hey, why don't you ask your Lin Zio to buy you 1 or 2 pieces? Him? Ding Ryushui didn't know what expression was on her face. It's good enough he doesn't ask me for money. This was actually true. In her interactions with Lin Zia, this was probably the only time it was free. Other times, it was always her paying, and it was never cheap. You're suffering, you man charmer. You lower yourself. I really don't know what's so good about that poor boy that you just have to. Suddenly, Lei Zioya's phone vibrated. She took out her phone and answered it. A sentence came through, and Lei Zioya's whole body was as if struck by lightning. Ding Ryushui, with transcendent hearing, heard the voice over the phone and was also stunned. Zia Tian is being pursued by Qianlong. A winged robot descended from the sky. Zia Tian's head and body separated. Ding Ryushui's heart jumped violently. A winged robot. Could it be the one encountered on the island that day? According to the description on the phone, it was precisely this thing called Wing Blade. The terror of Wing Blade, Ding Ryushui remembered vividly. She herself almost died under the wings of the Wing Blade. She could fully imagine the shock of a Wing Blade suddenly appearing in the city for a targeted assassination. Wing Blade is the most advanced robot of the 9-headed snake, bar none. At the time Qianlong was tracking Zia Tian, without regard for exposure risks, they preemptively killed Zia Tian. Just connecting these two things, Zia Tian must have committed something major, and he surely is a high-level person in the 9-headed snake. Lei Zioya was greatly shaken, the phone slowly slipping from her hand, her body teetering on the rocks. How could this happen? How could? Zioya, you, Ding Ryushui caught her. I have to go and see. Go and see. Lei Zioya opened her handbag she casually brought along, took out a tissue to wipe her tears and stumbled down the rocks. Ding Ryushui escorted her to the car she arrived in, and advised the driver to be careful on the road. Lei Zioya left first. Once the car was completely out of sight, Ding Ryushui's palm slowly opened, revealing a strip of medicine. This medicine she was very familiar with. It was precisely taken out by Lei Zioya after she sneezed during a meal at the hotel. This strip of medicine had a total of 5 rows, 10 pills. Lei Zioya herself had taken 2 pills. She had given 2 each to Lin Ziasu and Ding Ryushui. Currently, this strip of medicine has 4 pills left. Ding Ryushui did not have the habit of stealing. It was highly unlikely she would steal medicine from her best friend's bag, however. She is a super expert in maintaining vigilance against her best friend. She had caught an unknown action, whether intentional or unintentional. After answering the call, her best friend took out a tissue from her small bag and brought this strip of medicine out when they were leaving the rock together. This strip of medicine was in Lei Zioya's hand, and as they crossed the rocks, this medicine slid along her thigh into the deep sea. Ding Ryushui's hands did not leave her best friend's shoulder, but her hair, like her fingers, quietly coiled around the strip of medicine in the dark. Lei Zioya left, and Ding Ryushui held the strip of medicine, dazed. This medicine, is there a problem? Did she know once Zia Tian was exposed, she would soon be exposed too, so she disposed of the medicine at the first opportunity. What exactly is the problem with this medicine? She examined it closely, but could see no clues. However, on the day Lin Ziasu snatched this pill from her mouth. And today, her best friend secretly dropped the pill into the sea. They all point to a terrifying conclusion. The pill is problematic. A problematic pill given to her by her best friend. Ding Ryushui gazed into the depths of the ocean, her chest gently heaving. In this world, the bond between best friends is often said to be plastic, but if the most terrifying possibility were real, then how could her friendship with Lei Zioya be just plastic? The medication needs testing. Who should perform the test? She put the medication away, took out her phone, and opened the contact list to the number saved under fake boyfriend. But as soon as she did, she forced herself to stop. The night breeze blew, and she gently touched her own cheek, which felt a bit numb. Is a best friend truly trustworthy? That remains to be tested. You can't completely overturn the scales of trust over some unfounded suspicion, can you? Let's wait until the test results are in, then decide. Besides, who knows what this fake boyfriend is up to right now? If that bastard is somewhere in Yancheng ditching her to play around with women, that would be too much. But that's unlikely, right? A while ago, when they encountered the assassination attempt on the island, he immediately ended their trip in Yancheng the next day. Clearly, in his mind, handling important matters takes precedence over personal matters. He doesn't even plan on dealing with himself, so how could he be dealing with other women? Considering appearance, talent, beauty, and wealth, Ding Ryushui is in a league of her own. The fact he didn't try anything with her logically means he wouldn't try it with others. Thankfully, she didn't make the call. Otherwise, Lin Zaiasu's actual actions would have overturned all her logical judgments. Lin Zaiasu had just entered a hotel with Yixiang. Once the door opened and closed, Yixiang's face turned red. This was the first time in her life staying in a hotel with a man. The lights were bright, and the room contained only a bed. Today, from traveling from Wushan Mountain to Jiangcheng, and then from Jiangcheng to Yangcheng, you must be tired. Take a hot shower, Lin Zaiasu said. Okay, Yixiang went into the bathroom. She felt really shy, entering the bathroom without taking off her clothes, undressing quietly inside, and took quite a long time showering, then came out, turned off the light by the door and quickly dove under the covers with even her head covered. Lin Zaiasu chuckled and went to take a shower himself. When he came back, Yixiang poked her head out to watch TV. Seeing Lin Zaiasu's bare chest muscles, Yixiang quickly slipped back under the covers. Lin Zaiasu moved his fingers, moved his body, and snuggled under the covers. Yixiang whispered in his ear, "Brother, do you think someone will come check the room?" "Don't worry, if someone does come to check, we'll call Blue Demon for help." "You bad boy, how dare you use connections for this?" Then the real naughty stuff got underway. Yixiang was panting and moaning, forgetting where she was, forgetting her name. Then she fell into a deep sleep, in brother's embrace. At dawn, Yixiang woke up early, as had become her routine, having gotten used to waking up early at home. She gently slipped out of brother's arms, dressed herself, sneaked quietly to the door and paused to return to the bedside. She quietly kissed him on the lips, giggled with a red face, opened the door and left, took a circle around outside and bought breakfast. She thought brother would sleep in for a long time, as he usually woke up late at her house, especially after secretly having a round of that with her. He would sleep soundly in. But today, when she came back, the room was clean and tidy. Even the messy bed sheets were neatly arranged, and the towels used as makeshift cushions the night before were washed. Seeing her come in, Lin Zaiasu smiled gently. "A guest is coming soon." "Is it King Lanshan, the one you arranged with yesterday?" Yixiang was flustered. "Then I'll go out for a walk." "No need, right? We've been together all throughout this task, no need to avoid anything." "No," Yixiang's face flushed red. "Once she sits down, I'll come in from outside. She'll surely think I rented another room." "Got it." She wasn't voluntarily avoiding the case issues. She was merely hiding last night's whatnot. Lin Zaiasu gently pulled her into his arms and kissed her. "There's no need to hide that. She guessed we had something going on when I first came to your house." "Ah, but we really didn't have anything back then," Yixiang protested, fidgeting. In the end, she ran off, carrying the bag with the white turtle. The white turtle is really easy to care for. It neither eats nor poops. Even when Lin Zaiasu and Yixiang were turning the bed upside down, it sat quietly in the bathroom. Blue Demon arrived as agreed, and when she knocked on the door, only Lin Zaiasu was inside. Blue Demon glanced towards the bathroom, thoughtfully walked to the chair by the window, and sat down. Lin Zaiasu picked up the kettle, poured her a cup of tea. Blue Demon accepted the tea. "Where is she?" "She should be outside walking. She's from the mountains and finds everything overseas fascinating," Lin Zaiasu said. "Let's get to the main topic." Blue Demon nodded slightly. "After a thorough investigation last night, I can only say that there are findings, but they are quite limited." "Where are the findings?" Zaishan Technology Company has been proved to be the source company of the Life Soul Goo. Zaishan can be verified as middle to senior personnel of the nine-headed snake. The major Life Soul Goo case was all orchestrated by him, and currently, there's no evidence linking it to Kixing Group. The early technology exchange between Changsheng Group and Kixing Group was jointly decided by the chairman of the two groups and was approved by the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission. There's no procedural issue, and their motives withstand scrutiny. Why is it said that the motives withstand scrutiny? Changsheng Group has already changed its nature and become a state-owned enterprise. A private enterprise willing to share technology achievements with a state-owned enterprise is indirectly contributing to the country. Can you say this action is abnormal? However, things are going abnormal within normal procedures. Chapter 366, Target, Wing Blade. The two scientific teams sent by Changsheng Group were infected with the SA virus in Yancheng, and Kixing Group, embodying the spirit of the host, provided them with medicine. Moreover, it was effective. Once taken, their condition improved immediately. This is quite normal in hospitality. However, there was a problem with the medicine. The medicine was provided by the logistics department of Kixing Group. A person named Li Xiangrong implemented it specifically. The people from Kixing Group's logistics department assured, pounding their chests, that the medicine they procured was 100% legitimate, with invoices and buying chains, all in normal order. But Li Xiangrong swapped it out privately. Li Xiangrong was caught, but his statement matched the one from manager Zhang at Zhaishan Technology Company exactly. He followed the instructions from Xia Tian to swap the medicine and didn't know what was in it. Why did he follow Xia Tian? Because Xia Tian hired him as a consultant for Zhaishan Technology Company and paid him $1 million consultancy fee last year. So the Life Soul Gu case, has it hit a dead end at this stage? Lin Xiaosu lifted his teacup and took a sip. Blue Demon nodded slightly. Yes, at this stage there's no way to delve deeper, the only informant has been silenced. Alright, let's talk about the robot that executed the silencing plan. Lin Xiaosu said, Wing Blade, does Qianlong have any targeted plans? Wing Blade, targeted plans, what do you mean? Blue Demon was slightly startled. Don't you feel that in the Daxia country, Wing Blade moves freely, kills whoever it wants to kill, destroys whatever it wants to destroy, somewhat recklessly? More than just recklessly, Blue Demon said. But what else can be done? This thing is not a product of the current era's technology. Its flying speed can reach tens of Mach, surpassing any manned aircraft of the present stage, and it has high stealth function, making it untrackable, unlocatable at the same time. It can't be destroyed, always able to counterkill those who approach. Little Sue, don't focus on this thing, it's an impossible task. Impossible to complete. Lin Xiaosu squinted his eyes slightly. Blue Demon nodded. To be honest, the upper echelons of Qianlong have long reached a consensus. Anyone who can destroy a wing blade will automatically receive the hidden dragon medal of that year. Almost every heavenly king has tried various actions, but none could accomplish it. Including Jing Lei. Including Jing Lei. Lin Xiaosu smiled, his gaze slowly lifted. Maybe we can give it a try. Give it a try? Even if Jing Lei couldn't complete it, I'll be modest, not setting a target, just saying, give it a try. How to try? Track the wing blade and see where it lands. Blue Demon looked at him in disbelief. Are you sure you want to try this way? I'm sure. 2 questions. Blue Demon exhaled softly. Question 1, are you sure it has a base within Daxia country? Keep in mind its flight speed is over tens of Mach. Even rushing overnight from Luoba State, it would only take 20 minutes to get here. It essentially doesn't need a base. You don't know one more thing, Lin Xiaosu said. What? 10 days ago, on a small island, Wing Blade also made a move against me. What? Blue Demon's face changed drastically. I entered the Mountain and Sea Club with Ding Ryushui, playing a holographic game, originally wanting to see another rendition of Ancient Creatures, but midway encountered Wing Blade. At the time, Ding Ryushui and I made a tacit cooperation to escape from under Wing Blade's wings. Blue Demon's heart skipped a beat, then slowly exhaled. I'll no longer restrict you from messing around with women, others wasting money on women. You genuinely save lives by being with women. My God. Lin Xiaosu's eyes widened. Blue Demon said, I understand your point now. Wing Blade not only arrives quickly, but its movements are somewhat frequent. Rather than believing it rushed over from Luoba State at 30 Mach, it's better to say it's nearby. So, you say there's a nearby base. Right, Lin Xiaosu directly agreed with her conclusion. Blue Demon said, second question, Hidden Dragon Consensus, Wing Blade is untrackable, how do you plan to track it? Tracking technique, it's my specialty, don't forget, I'm a detective. Lin Zaiasu answered her in a sentence that seemed self-indulgent and arguably nonsensical. Blue Demon looked at him, her lips moved twice, almost wanted to splash a basin of cold water on his head. Almost wanted to tell him, you might be a detective but you're not a god. This thing passes through empty space, how do you track it? Lin Zaiasu said, as long as I catch up to it I can find its base. There's reason to believe this base will be very high-tech. Blue Demon's eyes brightened again. Indeed, Wing Blade is a divine artifact of 9-headed snake. And you easily find divine artifact in just any base. Only in a high-end base. Even if we really can't handle Wing Blade, a high-end base exposed domestically can't remain intact, right? As long as this high-end base is exposed because of Wing Blade, it can trigger a chain reaction. Wing Blade of 9-headed snake will no longer dare to recklessly fly in Daxia, because each exposure will bring an unbearable burden. Blue Demon slowly stood up. I know if the tracking succeeds, what an astonishing benefit it will bring. The only issue now is, how? Have your flying car come over. I'll take you for a spin on my specialty track. Lin Zaiasu winked at her, somewhat playfully. Blue Demon looked at his expression, feeling speechless inside, and gently blinked. In the next moment, a flying car pierced through the sky and landed on the rooftop of their hotel. Lin Zaiasu and Blue Demon stepped onto the flying car. The flowers in the small garden downstairs were blooming. Yixiang sat on the bench, and little Wu finally left its bag, crawling on the grass. Yixiang raised her eyes, watching the flying car disappear into the sky. She was puzzled when suddenly, her phone notified her of a message. She opened it, greeted by a flirtatious text. Little darling, I'm out handling something. Enjoy yourself at the beach or relax at the hotel. I'll come back tonight to do something you love. Yixiang's pale finger touched the screen like she was touching her brother's forehead, slowly moving as she replied, naughty brother, you're the one who likes those shameless things. Lin Zaiasu picked up his phone, glanced at the screen, and the next moment the phone was in his pocket. In fact, from this moment, the phone entered his inner space. A faint smile appeared on his face, but it soon vanished. Let me drive. Blue Demon made way. Lin Zaiasu entered the cockpit. The flying car followed the direction of the Wing Blade's departure. This pursuit secretly amazed Lin Zaiasu. The Wing Blade flew extremely high, at such a height that ordinary air defense missiles couldn't reach. Although the Qianlong flying car he sat in wasn't regulated and could legally ascend infinitely, technically, it couldn't reach the Wing Blade's altitude. Luckily, he had the Heavenly Tao Wisdom Eye. With the Heavenly Tao Wisdom Eye combined with reverse time, he could traverse 100 miles and capture the incredible trail left by the Wing Blade. He could follow the Wing Blade. The flying car swiftly passed over the city, over the coastline. Ahead lay the boundless sea. Beside the sea, a tall mountain named Mayanbai. Mayanbai Mountain has two versions of origins. Version 1, with mythological color, claims an immortal from Donghai once came here, faced the wall for enlightenment, and one day ventured east across the sea. Version 2, this mountain stands by the sea, and from the other side of the sea it appears wall-like, hence called Mayanbai. Mayanbai Mountain, with beautiful scenery akin to the fairyland Pinglai, also known by some as Little Pinglai. Visitors come here, it's a superb tourist spot. The wealthy reside in hilltop villas, which are places to enjoy the sea view. Watching the sea from the beach gives an interactive feeling with the ocean, a favored viewing spot for ordinary people. Viewing the sea from the high mountain offers a commanding view of the sea and sky, favored by the wealthy. On the south side of Mayanbai Mountain, there's an exquisite villa made entirely of whitewood, appearing particularly elegant, with 3 ancient, vigorous characters above the door. Bai Shan Residence. A whitewood structure, Beimu Pavilion. A white-clothed person on Beimu Pavilion. A white-clothed person sat in the pavilion on a wheelchair. The April sea breeze blew over, his hair gently lifted, revealing a face whose age was hard to discern. This face looked very young, appearing to be in his 30s or 40s. Yet his eyes were like the long waves below his feet, washing away worldly dust amidst the shimmering waves, radiating wisdom and understanding. He was the unmistakable owner of the Mountain and Sea Club, former Southern University professor Lin Weiyang. A figure in red leisurely walked up, stepping onto the white steps, entering the white pavilion. She was beautiful and elegant. She was none other than the daughter of the former Changsheng Group chairman Li Changsheng, Li Zi. Teacher, Li Zi walked up to Lin Weiyang, pouring him a cup of tea. The wind is strong in the pavilion. You shouldn't stay long, teacher. It's fine, Lin Weiyang smiled. Then you should put on your coat. Li Zi picked up a snow-white woolen coat from behind the wheelchair and draped it over Lin Weiyang. Her movements were gentle. If the former Li Changsheng was by her side, he wouldn't believe that his pampered daughter could perform such servile tasks so adeptly. Zi, you've been on the mountain for 8 months. Are you bored? Lin Weiyang gently lifted his hand, smoothing the edge of the white coat on his shoulder, sparking a soul-searching question. Under this soul-searching question, Li Zi fell silent. Anyone on the mountain for 8 months would be bored. She was the same. But what could she do? Lin Ziasu, this scoundrel, completely destroyed her father along with the commercial system he built, and later instigated Qianlong to issue a wanted order for her. Dare she descend the mountain? In this vast sea of people, amidst the boundless excitement of modern society, she had no place to settle. She could only depend on her teacher, becoming a canary in his villa. The canary may still maintain its beautiful feathers, but what canary doesn't long to fly out of the cage? The day after tomorrow, probably the day after tomorrow, Lin Weiyang slowly lifted his gaze. You can be released from your shackles. Li Zi's whole body shook. Teacher, are you serious? When have you ever seen me lie? Lin Weiyang smiled. Why? Li Zi was very excited. Lin Weiyang said, because the day after tomorrow I'm meeting someone. When he arrives at my Bai Shan residence, your shackles can be undone. Who? Lin Ziasu. Chapter 367. Chapter 367. Beneath the azure waves, the submarine. Li Zi stared at the teacher, completely unable to believe her ears. Isn't the reason she has these shackles today because of that Lin Ziasu who killed with 1,000 cuts? For the past half-year as a canary, she often thought of disguising herself and escaping, but she didn't dare. Wasn't it because she feared being detected by Lin Ziasu's detective eyes? The day after tomorrow, Lin Ziasu will come to the Bai Shan residence. Shouldn't she start checking every trace she left now, to avoid being seen through by those seemingly otherworldly eyes of his? But why did the teacher say instead that his arrival could liberate her from her shackles? She's not a fool. She was even once a strategist at the Changsheng Group. But she couldn't understand the teacher's game, not at all. The sea breeze flowed gently, leaving Li Zi feeling utterly lost. At this moment, the blue demon in the flying car also felt completely lost. She couldn't imagine how flying over the vast sea in a flying car was possibly going to catch up with the wing blade. This completely overturned her understanding. She personally witnessed his methods of detection during the pursuit of Du Tianj back then. During that chase, Du Tianj was also flying in the air, while he tracked from the ground until he caught up with Du Tianj. Although Du Tianj was wounded then, bleeding all over, he pursued from the ground, able to scent the dropped blood, generally within the capacity of a human or dog. The second time she heard of his method was when Chang Yi, and he also took a flying car to track a strange bird, which was the fourth transformation of the transformed beast, the crimson bird. It's rumored in Qianlong that he tracked the scent of the crimson bird in the air, pursuing it for 800 miles, and successfully found this killer mutant bird in the tea gardens. Upon hearing this, Blue Demon scoffed internally. Rather than believing such a fantastical tale, she'd prefer accepting another, more reliable analysis, that Chang Yi is deliberately concealing details of the detection process. The reason is obvious. Chang Yi is protecting her little lover, not wanting to expose the cards he has. Even if Blue Demon's guess is wrong and Lin Ziasu genuinely could smell the scent of the crimson bird's passage. Today it's completely incomparable. Flying over the sea in a flying car. The windows of the car were open. Theoretically, one could smell the scent. But does the wing blade have a scent? It's not even a biological entity. What kind of scent does it have? Moreover, the area is wide open, and the wing blade flew by yesterday. Even if there was a scent of engine oil, it would have long been swept away by the relentless sea winds into the taping ocean. How could one smell it? Yet despite all objections, Lin Ziasu suddenly came out with 3 words. Found it. Blue Demon abruptly stood up in the car's back seat. Where is it? Underwater, Lin Ziasu said. I can vaguely see the outline of a submarine. The flying car hovered in midair. Lin Zaiasu pointed downwards toward the sea with a finger. Blue Demon's pupils contracted, like a flower suddenly closing, but she still couldn't see the outline he mentioned. Are you sure there's a submarine outline? Sure. All right, we're going underwater. Blue Demon extended a hand, opening a secret compartment in the car, revealing 4 or 5 very strange round balls, seemingly of leather, yet with tentacles. What is this? Lin Zaiasu asked. Gallium bomb. Blue Demon took a breath, a smile emerging on her face. This was developed specifically by a kind of genius in Qianlong, originally designed to target the wing blade. However, upon inspection, the wing blade's shell isn't made of any known earthly metal, so this bomb that works on decomposing metal molecules can't handle the wing blade, but against submarines, it's a devastating weapon. Gallium, a very peculiar element. It can alter the qualities of steel. When steel encounters gallium, a chemical reaction occurs, and the hard metal shell softens so much that it can be penetrated by a finger. Of course, decomposing a submarine shell underwater isn't easy, so these gallium bombs incorporate a lot of advanced technology. Even if the two of them found the submarine underwater, theoretically they couldn't damage it, but with this kind of Qianlong black tech level weaponry, anything was possible. Destroy the submarine directly, Lin Zaiasu needed to confirm. Blue Demon nodded straightforwardly. Rest assured, it will puncture a big hole in the submarine's shell. The people inside won't escape doom, but the data inside Qianlong can restore. It won't be lost. King Lanshan, your carefree approach to preserving data rather than people is just what I like. Lin Zaiasu laughed heartily. I wasn't originally so reckless. You worked on my thought process all day until I became reckless. Blue Demon smiled charmingly. All right, let's stop joking, little Sue. There's something we need to establish a basic understanding of. Go ahead. If the wing blade is inside the submarine, today our actions are very dangerous. Because underwater, or in the confined space of a submarine, our movement speed will face great limitations, and the wing blade will have all the advantages. Don't be misled by your prior encounter with it. This statement was based on Blue Demon's combat experience. Her combat experience was extensive. She vaguely saw that Lin Zaiasu seemed to underestimate the wing blade. The fundamental reason possibly lies in the fact that he had an encounter with the wing blade once. People with prior experience theoretically have a say, but you must see the different situations. That time was on an island. Despite the wing blade being fast, one could avoid its sharpness and find plenty of room to dodge. Today, they're chasing after the wing blade's tail and found the submarine, which theoretically is an advanced base of the nine-headed snake, a mobile base on international waters. If the wing blade isn't inside, it's manageable. Destroying the submarine isn't that difficult. But if the wing blade is there, then complications arise. They enter the water, their speed is restricted. Inside the narrow space of the submarine, they're limited in movement. While the wing blade, amphibious and its speed a mystery, thrives in tighter spaces. Because it has nothing to destroy, its wings can cut steel, and the smaller the space, the easier it utilizes its advantage. While battling with it, the living entity is at a disadvantage everywhere. Lin Zaiasu smiled slightly. Don't worry, I already know its weak points. I have a way to deal with it. Are you sure? Blue Demon's eyes were as calm as water. Sure. Blue Demon slowly raised her head. Qianlong's combat principle is unconditional trust in allies. Let's hope it's correct. She gently lifted a finger to touch her neck. Her clothes completely changed. From a set of everyday spring attire, it transformed into a blue form-fitting battle armor. No helmet, but below this armor, oxygen was naturally delivered through a tube extending to the nostrils. This is a king-level dragon armor. Lin Zaiasu did not have dragon armor. Blue Demon gestured below the seat where there was one, but Lin Zaiasu shook her head gently. No need. Down. The hover car had already spun and landed lightly on the crest of the wave. Both descended from the vehicle, like two fish sliding into the ocean. The hover car was now empty, engaged in auto-hover mode, stopping right above the wave crest. Blue Demon followed Lin Zaiasu diving down underwater, 300 meters away. Suddenly, her eyes lit up. There really is a submarine. The submarine is exceptionally large, similar to the Yingyu country M32 submarine. The Yingyu country's Pacific Fleet has many such large submarines. The submarine has a length of 300 meters, nuclear-powered, can lurk underwater for several years. This submarine hovered in the midsection of a deep trench, like it's a part of the trench's mountain range. Blue Demon sighed deeply inside, admiring Lin Zaiasu tremendously. Such a submarine in completely motionless condition, sonar can't lock onto it, yet he can see its outline with the naked eye from hundreds of meters on the water surface. Is this the eye of a super detective? Omnipotent. Having expressed these thoughts, it was her course. Blue Demon, like a blue fish, slid down to beneath the submarine, extended her hand, and 2 gallium bombs swam out from her body. Yes, swam out. Like octopuses. Lin Zaiasu was also quite surprised. These gallium bombs, with biomimetic principles, can actually disguise themselves as marine organisms. Modern technology, indeed, is quite miraculous. The 2 octopuses simultaneously clung to the submarine's entry. Upon clinging, their bodies quickly enlarged. The seawater trembled lightly, suddenly turned into a vortex, surging towards the submarine's entry. What does this indicate? It indicates that the submarine door is already open. By using a very hard method to directly penetrate, the 2 followed, with the seawater flooding into the submarine. Inside the submarine, there was another door. This is the watertight compartment. On Blue Demon's body, 2 octopuses shot out with the inflowing water, clinging to that steel door. Behind this steel door is the main battlefield. Floating on the water, Blue Demon had some compressed air above. Her voice transmitted, "Ready." "Ready." Boom. A loud shock, the inner door swung open. Large amounts of seawater flooded into the submarine's interior. The internal submarine was already in chaos. To be specific, the moment the watertight compartment opened, the people inside were already disordered. Submarines underwater, the most fearsome is the hull having issues. Once the hull has issues, it's scarier than an airplane encountering engine trouble while flying in the sky. An airplane in the sky still has a process of emergency landing for escape. A submarine at the bottom, the backlash from the seawater influx, the terrifying underwater pressure, those are deadly natural weapons. However, the people in this base are not ordinary people. Ordinary people, even if they perceive the watertight compartment's breach, don't have the chance to react. They do. Because they are genetic people. Upon reacting, hundreds of genetic people bounced up simultaneously. Blue Demon and Lin Zaiasu rushed into the submarine. Underwater, 3 dark shadows broke through the surface, blades in hand, reflecting the soul-chasing, chilling light within the dim submarine. Beneath them, the seawater turned into raging waves, engulfing everything, further accentuating the atmosphere of terror. Blue Demon kicked the hull behind her. Her entire person transformed into a blue lightning bolt. Swoosh. 3 heads simultaneously flew up. Swoosh. Again, 5 people burst out from the water, pounced towards Blue Demon. Blue Demon's movement technique was fully on. Her electric form etched the most stunning electric current in the extremely confined space of the submarine. In an instant, yet another 3 people were decapitated. Suddenly, the water beneath bubbled like boiling. Countless dark figures sprang forth. Roughly counting, at least 50+ people. Blue Demon's heart suddenly sank. She knew the enemy planned to use the most fierce, resolute method to eliminate them, then restore the watertight system. This is the submarine's most critical moment of danger. No one dares to bet on time. Only by using the fastest method, eliminating hidden threats, establishing the watertight system, does the submarine have a glimmer of hope. This concerns life and death. The opponent is going all in. Chapter 368. Chapter 368. Third form of Li Ren swordsmanship. Li Ren tears. Can they withstand this wave of impact? On ordinary days, facing dozens or even hundreds of genetic people, as the Qianlong king, she would have no fear, but the current situation was too severe. There was no solid ground under her feet, only seawater and limited space for maneuvering. Her movement technique, which she prided herself on, was greatly restricted, and her electric superpower was diluted by the seawater, weakening it significantly. Suddenly, a sword light appeared. Yes, a sword light. From Lin Zaiasu's hand. He stood amidst the raging waves, with a long sword in hand that at this moment resembled the misty spring rain. The raging waves below turned into a spring river. The spray of water above became spring rain. The spring rain drifted without direction, destination unknown. The root of spring rain lay on Lin Zaiasu's long sword. Hiss. A gentle sound. On the foreheads of over 50 genetic people emerging from the water, simultaneously bloomed a blood-red lotus flower. Plub plub. Like dumplings being dropped in water, the entire cabin turned crimson with blood. Whoosh, electricity streaked. Blue Demon dashed through the cabin as swiftly as lightning and arrived beside Lin Zaiasu. At that moment, Lin Zaiasu was staring at the tip of his sword with a hint of fascination. You killed more than 50 people with one sword. Blue Demon's voice resonated oddly in the confined space. This sword didn't come from my real cultivation. In fact, in an environment without water, I couldn't have used it at all. Lin Zaiasu's voice was filled with a touch of sentiment. His words were true. This sword was the third form of Li Ren swordsmanship, Li Ren Tears. Li Ren Tears has a threshold. One must break through to observing heaven, with true qi leaving the body, to then transform true qi into spring rain, allowing the spring rain to take lives. He was far from reaching observing heaven, and it was impossible for him to execute this move. However, at this moment, he was inside the submarine, surrounded by water. The water, under his true qi imbued with water rule power, extended as an extension of his true qi. In a somewhat spurious way, he unleashed this sword that was impossible for him on land. The power of this sword even shocked him. Do you think I believe? Blue Demon was just about to comment when her voice was abruptly cut off. Her gaze was locked onto the rushing flood below. Hiss! A shadow shot through the air, and the massive wave it created instantly engulfed the entire space. Wing Blade, Blue Demon shouted. Though her heart pounded, Blue Demon's basic combat instincts remained. Stepping forcefully, she shot out like a cannonball with the fastest movement technique, combining it with the fiercest move, aiming Dragon Scale straight at Wing Blade. Despite the water's obstruction, the hit was precise. However, it was futile. Dragon Scale striking Wing Blade's shell was like scratching an itch across boots. The terrifying impact from Wing Blade converted into kinetic energy of water. Strong as Blue Demon was, she was swept backward by the current. Through the dark water, Dragon Eye, Blue Demon felt her heart leap. Because she suddenly realized that Wing Blade's target was not herself, but Lin Zaiasu. She had attacked only the side of Wing Blade, while Lin Zaiasu was directly confronting Wing Blade head-on. The long sword in his hand was nowhere to be seen, yet he was pressing his palms against Wing Blade's chest. However, with Wing Blade's terrifying impact, how could mere flesh and blood withstand it? In an instant, Wing Blade propelled Lin Zaiasu out of the cabin door, vanishing from her sight. Blue Demon could no longer afford to enter the submarine. She went full throttle, shooting like lightning through the waterlogged compartment, launching herself into the open sea. She finally saw Wing Blade. And she also saw Lin Zaiasu. Wing Blade had forcefully pushed Lin Zaiasu out of the water, its wings forming a giant scissor, intending to cut Lin Zaiasu in half. Blue Demon's heart was gripped with terror as she accelerated again. Suddenly, the rapidly closing wings abruptly stopped. What's happening? Swish! Lin Zaiasu soared out of the water and entered the hovering flying car above the surface, and in the next moment, Blue Demon transformed into electricity and disappeared into the car. Wing Blade lay in the flying car, and on Lin Zaiasu's face, a smile emerged. Blue Demon trembled all over, stepping forward, planting a foot on Wing Blade. At this moment, Wing Blade no longer moved. It was just an inert machine, causing a tidal wave of unimaginable thoughts in Blue Demon's mind. This Wing Blade could it already be ruined? Congratulations, King Lanshan. According to Qianlong's high-level regulations, destroying one Wing Blade unconditionally awards you the Hidden Dragon Medal. This year's Hidden Dragon Medal is yours to take, Lin Zaiasu said. Blue Demon suddenly turned around, her eyes sparkling endlessly. How did you destroy it? There's nothing mysterious about it, Lin Zaiasu answered. I fought Wing Blade earlier and knew its shell couldn't be destroyed, but it's a machine and it has an energy source. I stole its energy source. Lin Zaiasu turned his hand, revealing a crystal glowing red in his palm. Stole the energy source. Blue Demon took a deep breath, feeling a bit incredulous. No part of Wing Blade's body could be penetrated, so even if an energy source was hidden within this shell, who could break the shell to obtain the energy source? If it weren't for the energy source clearly displayed before her eyes, she would surely think the idea of stealing the energy source was pure fantasy. Even with the energy source in front of her, she still felt it was fantastical. For a moment, myriad thoughts crossed her mind. However, she never imagined that the fantasy she conjured up was not even a tenth as fantastical as reality. The way Lin Zaiasu extracted the wing blade energy source was unheard of in this world, even viewed among the cultivation path considered to be the immortal realm. It was unparalleled in its sophistication. It is the law, and it's the space law, which is king among the heavenly Tao 7 techniques. Time is revered, space is king, and it's not just empty boasting. However, deploying this space law is extremely difficult. On the island, Lin Zaiasu had faced off against the wing blade. He learned that the wing blade had an energy source, and he once shook the energy source, causing the wing blade's later flight path to become slightly uncoordinated. Later, during his leisure time in Myojiang, he went through all records related to the wing blade, confirming this judgment was accurate. The basis of this judgment lay in the nine-headed snake's use of the wing blade. Given how useful the wing blade was, why did the nine-headed snake use it so infrequently? The fundamental reason was the energy source. The wing blade originated from the ancient ruins, and the energy source did too. The number of wing blades is limited, and so is the energy source. This energy source was installed by people from the nine-headed snake, indicating the energy source itself existed independently. When an object exists independently, it provides the prerequisite for the space laws, retrieving objects across space. Because his space law is still very rudimentary, he can transfer an independent object, but cannot sever its physical connections. Theoretically feasible, practically it is immensely difficult. He must determine the location of the wing blade's energy source. If it were on land, with the wing blade striking as thunder and lightning, he might not have had time to probe the specific compartment holding the energy source inside the wing blade. Fortunately, it was in water. The wing blade's speed was greatly restricted. Even while it charged at him, in just those brief 3 seconds, he could still use the heavenly Tao primordial spirit to precisely locate the position of the energy source. In the window of time when the wing blade's wings folded up, attempting to cut him in half, he deployed space law and stole its peach. Stole its heart. With this theft, the wing blade's lethal threat was immediately neutralized. The deadly guillotine formed a scissors shape, but couldn't close at all. Wing blade was taken down. In the moment Blue Demon was lost in thought, the ocean's surface began to bubble up. There were many people still in the submarine. Blue Demon gathered her chaotic thoughts and suddenly stood. Lin Zaiasu stood. Swishing. The hunt commenced. Without the wing blade, on a relatively familiar battlefield, the people rising from the sea became blood flowers on the ocean surface in mere moments, and immediately the two dove back into the water. Hidden genetic people scattered underwater attempting to escape were unable to evade their pursuit. Inside the submarine, they went back in, and the people inside, those who could withstand a move or two, but the vast majority were killed with one strike. From the sealed water compartment to the command cabin, totaling over 300 people, leaving only a dozen or so alive. The dozen or so couldn't be killed, had to keep some alive. But as they thought this, the people of Nine-Headed Snake were also worried about it. The submarine shook tremendously with a thunderous explosion. The explosion started from the innermost control panel, and the intense shock wave swept through the entire submarine. Lin Zaiasu and Blue Demon, reacting with unparalleled speed, exited the submarine faster than the shock wave, and the submarine disintegrated before their eyes, sinking into the bottomless ocean trench. The two had no choice but to shake their heads in dismay underwater. Back aboard the flying car, Blue Demon said, "Though they acted so decisively, we still have our ways." She blinked and issued a directive. "Soon there will be flying cars towing ships over here. Even if this base sinks into a bottomless trench, Qianlong's deep-sea robots will still have ways to retrieve some things out. Of course, it will take time. Also, it's not their mission." Blue Demon turned her gaze to the black machine in the flying car, took a deep breath of sea breeze, and finally revealed a smile, her smile especially charming beneath the glow of victory. Sky flying car landed. It was the same Qianlong flying car like Blue Demon. Door opened. 101 short figure stood in the flying car, appearing even shorter, yet his eyes were bright like the waves beneath. Below in the ocean trench there is a submarine, model M32, has self-destructed, sunk to the bottom, arrange personnel, dredge it all up. All other procedures, execute Qianlong's plan number 8. Blue Demon directly commanded. Yes, 101 accepted the order. Blue Demon raised her hand, pointed at the flying car's edge. The flying car soared into the sky, returning to Yangcheng. By the sea, the flying car stopped. Inside the flying car, Lin Zaiasu slowly raised his gaze. Are you heading back to headquarters? Yes, Blue Demon said. The current biggest task is to escort this wing blade back to headquarters. Her face shone with radiance, never before so beautiful and alluring, because the excitement inside her heart had fully evaporated. Wing blade, the nine-headed snake's strongest weapon, almost unrivaled. How many people from Qianlong have died beneath the wing blade? Just on the wall of fallen heroes, over 100 died under the wing blade. Qianlong had devised no less than 10 plans specifically targeting the wing blade, none of them truly effective. But today, everything would be rewritten because a wing blade was in her hands. As long as this wing blade reaches Qianlong headquarters, the research team at headquarters could deeply dissect this ancient leftover technological divine artifact. If they could replicate this technology, Daxia's strength would skyrocket instantly. Even if replication failed, at least they could understand the operational principle of the wing blade and could effectively counter nine-headed snake's wing blade strategy. The importance of this war trophy surpasses everything. She must personally escort it back to headquarters, eliminating all uncertainties. Are you coming back? Lin Zaiasu asked. Chapter 369. Chapter 369. Wing blade seized surging waves. What? Can't bear to part with me? Blue Demon's eyes flickered, her charm overwhelming. Her micro-expressions might be the richest in the world, bar none. Well, I really wouldn't dare. Lin Zaiasu rubbed his chin. It's just that there are still some loose ends. The day after tomorrow, then, early in the morning, I'll knock on your door. Blue Demon winked. Just a small reminder, when I knock on your door, you'd better be sleeping alone, and the bed had better be clean. After she said this, Blue Demon's car flew off. Lin Zaiasu was left in chaos by the wind. My goodness, did you actually notice whether my bed was clean when you came into the room today? Are you just bored, or under the pretext of ensuring everything for Chang Yi, are you meddling too much? Lin Zaiasu walked along the seaside back to the hotel. The sea breeze was gentle, and the coconut trees swayed in the wind. The fragrance of flowers lingered, with no clue from which city park it came. On the street, people were already dressed in summer attire, looking quite cool. In a small park outside the hotel, Yixiang looked up with a shallow smile on her face, and beside her, a white turtle also raised its head, looking kindly at Lin Zaiasu. Lin Zaiasu reached out and patted little Wu's head. Tomorrow, at the Jewel Expo, I'll go with you. Great, Yixiang was so happy. She and Lin Zaiasu had just come out of Wushan Mountain yesterday. They had breakfast prepared by mother before leaving in the morning. By noon, they reached Yangcheng. In the afternoon, they attended a special meeting and reached Yangcheng at sunset. The entire journey was tense and intense. Although it didn't delay him from being with her 3 times last night, the main tone of tension persisted. Now it seemed like things were almost settled, because he mentioned going to the expo. Going to the expo shouldn't cause any trouble, right? That's purely for leisure and entertainment. That's good, she likes it this way, enjoying life with her brother. They were entering a leisure mode. Meanwhile, a storm was brewing far away in Luoba State. In an ancient estate's basement, tightly sealed, a middle-aged white man had a pale face, and in front of him was a projection. This was the last image recorded by the wing blade, using its eyes as the medium. Wing blade struck, targeting a young man. The man reached out to block wing blade's attack. The water flowed swiftly backward, showcasing tremendous speed. A light suddenly flashed in the young man's eyes, and then there was no more then, as wing blade cut off contact with all positioning completely gone. Such a sequence of images, within a minute from start to finish. The middle-aged man watched it over and over, as sweat on his back alternated between wet and dry. He couldn't believe it, his mind was in turmoil. Could it be? Did wing blade really have a problem? How could wing blade have a problem? If it indeed had issues, then this king-level figure simply couldn't withstand the Lord's wrath. Hopefully, it's just a malfunction. The wall in front of him glowed slightly. As if a door was opening in the deep darkness, a phantom slowly solidified. It was the projection of a white elder. This elder, with hair and beard entirely white, was immaculately groomed. exuding an extremely noble sense of presence. But his eyes were particularly peculiar. They were green. Ordinary white people usually have a hint of blue in their eyes, but his were green, a very striking green. Lord, the middle-aged man bowed, facing the projection on the wall. Are you aware that something happened to Wing Blade? The Lord cut straight to the point, his voice deep, carrying a thunderous pressure. The middle-aged man's heart shook. Subordinate has been watching Wing Blade's recording repeatedly, and for the moment can't determine what happened. Please grant me some time, I will find out immediately. No need to investigate. I've received accurate information, the Lord said. The Wing Blade's remains have already been delivered to Qianlong headquarters. The middle-aged man was shocked all over, his face drained of color. Wing Blade being sent to Qianlong headquarters was the scenario he feared most. The worst-case scenario had already happened. The Lord's strikingly green eyes locked onto him. Wing Blade, our key instrument against enemies, hadn't failed for 31 years. Precisely because of its existence, the Zia hidden dragon was suppressed. Now, with such an instrument obtained by the enemy, our strategy suffers a major setback. Shadowy Heaven King, your crime is far heavier than you can imagine. Thud. Shadowy Heaven King suddenly knelt down beneath the Lord's projection. Lord, subordinate is at fault. Subordinate admits fault. Please grant me time, I will immediately head to Daxia and at all costs retrieve the Wing Blade. The Lord coldly said, the Wing Blade is already at Qianlong headquarters. How will you retrieve it? Shadowy Heaven King trembled as he spoke. The Wing Blade's significance surpasses everything. Even if it has entered Qianlong headquarters, it's possible to concentrate the remaining 3 Wing Blades, even forcefully assault. Foolish, the Lord's voice rang powerfully, as if the basement were engulfed by raging waves. The voice of the Shadowy Heaven King abruptly halted. The Lord took a deep breath and slowly spoke. Lin Xiaosu's method of capturing the Wing Blade is unheard of. Until the root cause of the Wing Blade's failure is uncovered, no Wing Blade is to set foot in Daxia. Wherever Lin Xiaosu is, the Wing Blade must not come within an inch. Cold sweat broke out on the Shadowy Heaven King's back. Indeed, he had almost made another grave mistake. The method used by the opponent to capture the Wing Blade remains unknown. If in such an uncertain situation, the Wing Blade is dispatched blindly, and things go wrong, all Wing Blades could be lost in Daxia. That would genuinely shake the very foundations of the 9-headed Hydra. He was truly anxious, making mistakes in panic, but with just one sentence the Lord highlighted the stakes, and he understood the implications. The Lord's gaze slowly descended. You have only one task to accomplish. Please instruct me, my lord. Kill Lin Xiaosu. I don't care about the process, I only want the result. If news of Lin Xiaosu's death doesn't return within a month, you'll lose your head in his place. Understood. Additionally, tell 7 Steps one thing, the Lord said. I'm entrusting him with the Daxia district, and he must guard it well for me. The Life Soul Gu case has been exposed and has drawn Qianlong's focus. I can tolerate up to 10% personnel losses along this line, but no more. For every percentage point over that, I'll execute one of his kin. For more than 3 percentage points, I'll eradicate his whole clan. Understood. The Lord's figure slowly faded into the wall. Shadowy Heaven King slowly raised his head, cold sweat trickling down his forehead. The capture of the Wing Blade stirred waves at the highest echelons of the 9-headed Hydra, akin to a whirlpool at Qianlong headquarters. However, the waves at Qianlong headquarters were waves of excitement, waves of joy. This season at Qianlong headquarters, the scent of spring burst forth. Wildflowers bloomed along the riverbanks, and wooden huts dotted the verdant willow canopy. Among them was a small wooden hut, resembling a piano platform. In fact, it was indeed a piano platform. Only Heavenly King-level individuals could have a private residence, personally designed. The owner of this piano platform was Miao Yin, the Heavenly King. The sun had already set in the west. Under the evening glow, the seemingly ordinary face of Miao Yin, the Heavenly King, revealed a beautiful blush beneath the fine down, an unusual beauty highlighting her usual charm. Just because she had recently seen a message on the Heavenly King channel. Blue Demon had retrieved a Wing Blade. Just 8 words made the usually detached and serene legend of Qianlong's heart race. She knew what this meant. It meant that the biggest impasse for Qianlong had been breached. On the little bridge in front, a blue silhouette drifted by. It was her best friend in Qianlong, Blue Demon. I just saw the news. Miao Yin, the Heavenly King, stood up, Congratulations to you and congratulations to Qianlong. The first sentiment was for her friend's achievement, the second one for Qianlong's breakthrough. Under the sunset, Blue Demon's face was also flushed with excitement, a beauty she had never shown before. She reached out and grabbed Miao Yin, the Heavenly King. Actually, this honor ought to have been yours. What do you mean? Miao Yin, the Heavenly King's eyes widened. Didn't you say Lin Ziaosu contacted you a few days ago? There was a hint of mystery in Blue Demon's eyes. Yes, but he only asked a question about subsonic waves. Demon sound is the starting point of the Life Soul Gu incident. The killing and silencing of the Wing Blade appeared during the Life Soul Gu incident. If you had been by his side when he mentioned demon sound back then, it wouldn't have been me bringing the Wing Blade back to headquarters, but you, Blue Demon said. That's why I said this honor was originally meant for you. You just let me have it according to your style. Miao Yin, the Heavenly King, stared blankly at her. I really want to take your favor, but why do I feel like you're pouring salt on my wound? Heaven witnesses, if I had known I could bring back the Wing Blade, I would have gone at once. I definitely wouldn't adhere to this style with you. This isn't a pleasant way to chat. Blue Demon glared at her. Miao Yin, the Heavenly King, nodded. I know it's not a pleasant style, but I am truly unhappy inside. Blue Demon giggled. So I've brought you a new honor. What is it? Blue Demon said. Although the Wing Blade is brought back, decrypting it remains a challenge. Old Man authorized me to assemble a research team specifically for decryption. I'm passing that authority on to you. Miao Yin, the Heavenly King's heart raced. Assembling a research team, decrypting the Wing Blade. This is indeed an honor. Why? The Wing Blade is a product of an ancient civilization. It is a decryption target that scientists long for in their dreams. Indicators show that merely participating in decryption offers a chance to break through current technological levels and make a milestone step forward. For scientists at Qianlong, who wouldn't want such an opportunity? As the leader tasked with assembling the team, they will become someone scientists flock to curry favor with. Though Qianlong kings don't care much for nepotism, it must be admitted that having such leverage in an organization is appealing. It at least grants the team leader prestige within the scientific community, facilitating operations. Heaven witnesses, those scientists are all very aloof. Hardly is there anyone easy to talk to. Miao Yin, the Heavenly King, stared at her. Being commanded to assemble a team, decrypting ancient civilization is Old Man's special reward for you bringing back the Wing Blade, and you're genuinely willing to pass this honor on to me. Yes, Blue Demon nodded in confirmation. Why? Miao Yin, the Heavenly King, asked. Don't tell me, you genuinely feel that since Lin Ziaosu contacted me first, you've taken advantage, so you owe me. Blue Demon giggled. That's a joke. The real reason is, this Lin Ziaosu, you see, I made an appointment with him the day after tomorrow. I really don't have the time to accept Old Man's kind offer. Chapter 370. Chapter 370. Another unofficial member, Tianma. Oh, so it's a handsome guy you're meeting. Well, I have no objections to this. I get honor and you get the benefits, a win-win. Miao Yin, Heavenly King, laughed. You're getting a good deal and still playing innocent. Blue Demon shot her a glance. I'll give you a piece of advice. Reserve a place in your team for someone. Who? Tianma. Tianma, Miao Yin, Heavenly King's eyes blinked lightly. Tianma's free-spirited thinking is an exception not in Qianlong's regular lineup, and you emphasize him. Should I understand this as Lin Ziaosu's intention? How is that possible? Lin Ziaosu doesn't even know his real identity, Blue Demon said. I emphasize him because he indeed is extraordinary. For instance, his invention of the gallium bomb, the key skill is free-spirited thinking. His participation could indeed bring about a different kind of world. It seems Lin Ziaosu has indeed changed you a lot. You used to not trust outsiders much, and now you almost have faith in them. Miao Yin, Heavenly King, said. Let me remind you, in this state you're likely to crash in front of him. What do you mean by crash? Blue Demon glared at her. It means, the Chang'e alert line, you always remind Lin Ziaosu of yourself might trip over it. Damn, if swearing isn't enough to show integrity, I swear hard. Blue Demon said, if I crash, I'll take your surname. A blue shadow flew over the mountains and forests, and Blue Demon vanished without a trace. Miao Yin, Heavenly King, stared at the sky in a daze, muttering to herself, if crash, then take my surname. But what surname do I have? The same Qianlong headquarters. The same little river flowing. A small stone house at the very top. Yes, others have wooden houses, but at the top it's a stone house. Inside the stone house, it is very cold. Blue stone floors, blue stone windows. In front of the window, a middle-aged man sat, seemingly ordinary and unremarkable in appearance. Yet when those Qianlong trainees passed by, they all deliberately restrained their usual flamboyance during training and walked by slowly. Because the person in this house is the god of the entire Qianlong. Jinglei. Jinglei, the one who can bring stability to the world. This time he went to the Middle East, and with just a wave of his hand, an entire base turned to dust. Even the awe-inspiring Nirvana could not stop his actions. As a super strongman who first clashed with Nirvana. As a superhero who smoothly advanced the mission under Nirvana's guard. He had a premonition that upon returning to headquarters, a storm would be unleashed. Headquarters indeed had a storm, however. The main character of the storm was not him, but Blue Demon. Wing Blade was brought back by Blue Demon. It wasn't just a matter of escaping from Wing Blade after a confrontation. Nor was it a matter of thwarting Wing Blade's actions and returning victoriously, but rather directly bringing back an intact Wing Blade. This news set off a true storm within Qianlong. Even Jinglei himself could not believe it. He was someone who had fought with Wing Blade. He was the person who knew Wing Blade's terrors the best. Wing Blade had no flaws. Even in Jinglei's eyes, there were no flaws. In other words, even if it were Jinglei himself, it would be impossible to bring back Wing Blade, yet Blue Demon did. How could this be? At Qianlong headquarters, some were shocked, some were confused, and whether there were any other thoughts, it was unknown. And far away at sea, at base 101. In Chang'ai's small garden, the flowers bloomed as usual, and the swing swayed as usual. In the laboratory, Chang Yi had just completed compiling a set of materials, which were the toxicology data she had researched her whole life. During this time, she was very busy, because she knew clearly that her path in life would not be long. She had to leave all her results from her journey in human world before reaching the end of her life. This busyness was tragic. This busyness was also necessary. But after successfully archiving each set of data, she would always stop and think, what other achievements are there in her life? The greatest achievement perhaps could not be archived, or could only be kept in her heart. That was the passionate encounter with him. Thinking of this, her face would always blush, representing that she did not regret her journey in life. This contentment also supported her to continue the next part of her journey. At the end of her life, the last chapter was slowly closing. Suddenly, Dragon Eye brought a tremor. It was from Blue Demon. Upon seeing the news, Chang Yi held her breath. She did not exhale for a long time. Finally, she exhaled slowly and slowly walked out of the laboratory. Outside, the spring light was so bright. Xinyu pressed her foot against the ground, positioning the swing. Sister Chang'ai, has something big happened again? Chang Yi's face slowly broke into a smile. How do you know something big must have happened? It's written on your face, a proud little expression. If I could make wild guesses, I'd recklessly guess that your man Lin Xiaomeng did another earth-shattering thing. Oh my God, wouldn't it mean I'd be caught up again? Xinyu's expression suddenly changed. Caught up? Isn't that thinking a bit too erratic? What does it have to do with you? It was Chang Yi's turn to be puzzled. Erratic thinking? What does it have to do with me? Let me tell you. Xinyu stood up straight, puffing her chest out. Last time he helped his mistress destroy Utopia's central outpost, directly turning my gold medal 49 into a daylily. If he helps some other woman make a great achievement again this time and pushes me out of the top 100, I must kill him. Xinyu had a strong sense of crisis. Gold medal 49, originally hers, she was already beside herself over losing it. This time, Lin Xiaos and Lin Xiaomeng, if they do this again, and support a new female gold medalist from the same group to fill the 2 vacant spots in the top 100, then Xinyu would definitely do more than just jot him down in her little book of hatred. She'll go to the extreme. Chang Yi sighed lightly. You're too sensitive about this. He did indeed accomplish something big this time, but it has nothing to do with you. The person he helped was Blue Demon. If it's Blue Demon, then it's not a problem. Blue Demon has no ties to Xinyu, no matter what. Xinyu, no matter how tumultuous she gets, wouldn't go to the extent of competing for merit with the Heavenly King. She breathed a sigh of relief. What did he do? Chang Yi said, he helped Blue Demon capture a wing blade. Oh my God, wing blade, wait, you said, captured, what does captured mean? It means that this wing blade was brought back to headquarters by Blue Demon. Xinyu's mouth hung open, her eyes fixed in place. For a long, long time her eyes slowly turned as she inhaled. Lin Xiaomeng, he sure is worthy of being called Lin Xiaomeng now, truly fierce, even capturing a wing blade. No, wait. Wait, what's off? Chang Yi frowned. Such a great merit, he didn't give it to Li Xiaosen. He actually gave it to King Lanchen. Does he have some thoughts about King Lanchen? Chang Yi felt a bit of a headache. She couldn't stand the term mistress. Whenever it's mentioned, she feels like she's somewhat. If not Li Xiaosen, he should give it to me. If he gives it to me, won't I just step Li Xiaosen down again? Xinyu's resentment rose again. Give it to you? For what reason? You've already put him at the top of your little book of hatred. Chang Yi glared at her. Xinyu said, for what reason? Because he messed with you. Because you're my sworn sister, I'm his sworn niece. Chang Yi raised her hand, pressing it against her forehead. Hey, Sister Chang Yi, I've always wanted to ask you, what was it like when you guys did that? Oh my God, how did it suddenly turn in this direction? Your mind really jumps around. Chang Yi planned to head into the lab. I heard in books that, when you do that, it's like being shocked by electricity. Is it true? Xinyu followed her in. Chang Yi replied with annoyance, why don't you try it yourself? Do you think I haven't tried? I tried 220V, just tingling, not very stimulating. Maybe the voltage isn't high enough. Next time I'll try 100,000 volts. Chang Yi's ability to organize words was shattered by her single sentence. Endless night, limitless undercurrents. At Yanqing Hotel, Lin Xiaosu indulged in Yixiang's undercurrents with quotes. Daybreak has come. His eyes opened. The charming big eyes of Yixiang in his arms also slowly opened. This girl is becoming more and more alluring. Brother, the voice came, very light, very soft, very sticky. Lin Xiaosu's lips moved over for a kiss. So fragrant, so soft. Yixiang closed her eyes, comfortably adjusting her posture. Day has come. Doesn't matter. Your mother isn't outside anyway. Hey, do you think my mother knows about us, like this? She probably knows. You're washing towels every day. If you weren't doing this, why would you have so many towels to wash every day? Bad brother, it's all because of you. You're still talking. Yixiang gave him a small bite, slipped out of the bed, wrapped her body in a bath towel and ran into the bathroom. No guests visiting, no business to attend to during the travel time. It's so leisurely and comfortable. The two lounged in the room till late morning, finally got out of bed, left the hotel, had breakfast, and then were on the roadside hailing a taxi. Yixiang held his hand. In Maojing, she'd never dare. But in this unfamiliar big city, everyone is a stranger. This little wildflower from the mountainside finally could freely bloom. She absolutely couldn't have imagined. Lin Xiaosu absolutely couldn't have imagined either. A car was speeding towards them from behind. In this car, a beauty's eyes suddenly widened, shocked as she looked at Lin Xiaosu, looked at Yixiang, looked at the hand Yixiang was holding. Seeing all this, the beauty's heart was overwhelmed with waves. Ryushui, what's wrong? The other beauty beside Ding Ryushui straightened her waist, sat up properly and followed Ding Ryushui's gaze, chuckling. The guy's handsome, the girl's pretty, they look perfect together. Perfect together. Perfect your grandmother's eggs. Ding Ryushui's heart was filled with a bunch of little pawpaw. Good for you, Lin Xiaos. Claiming to be my boyfriend while in Yancheng. Leaving me in Yancheng, ignoring me for a week, I actually believed you had serious business to do. You actually found a little beauty. You scumbag. You bastard. Your behavior is aunt intolerable, uncle intolerable, even my mother can't tolerate it. Miss, directly to the expo venue, the driver in front asked. Ryushui, what do you say? The lady beside Ding Ryushui sought Ding Ryushui's opinion. My opinion. Ding Ryushui really wanted to say, my opinion is that we stop the car. I get out and beat that scumbag into a pig head first, then discuss where to go next. But as someone who opens the water secret realm, her personality has some softness. To the venue then. Chapter 371. Chapter 371. Young Master Zhao pays the bill, that young Master Zhao. The young lady nodded gently. Look, those two golden boys and girls who caught your attention, their car turned left, they should also be heading to the venue. Caught my attention. Come on. That's called volcanic eruption. Ding Ryushui still didn't respond. Ryushui, we walk in the world like swallows flying in the sky. One swallow flying is quite lonely. Do you want me to set you up with a boyfriend? The young beauty next to her had a mysterious smile in her eyes. Find what boyfriend? Men are no good, bastards, scumbags. Ding Ryushui's inner stream finally broke through the gentle dam. The driver in front was shocked. He found it hard to imagine how the gentle and refined Miss Ding suddenly changed. Ding Ryushui vented for a while, suddenly noticing the driver's unusual look, quickly apologized. Sorry, driver brother, I didn't mean you. The young lady next to her nodded. Little Joe, don't overthink it. The scum refers to rich, handsome but unfaithful men, has nothing to do with you. If little Joe could complain, he'd surely groan. Miss, don't comfort me, that's not comforting, that's adding insult to injury. But he could, because he was the driver of Jiangnan Group. In the car was Miss Zhao Su from Jiangnan Group. Zhao Su was a classmate of Ding Ryushui. From where? Yangcheng Ningxui High School. Ningxui High School, a noble school. It can be said that behind everyone who entered stood a magnate. Zhao Jilei, founder and chairman of Jiangnan Group, and Ding Lijiang, one of the founders of Chengsheng Group, were such magnates. After graduating from Ningxui High School, the two roommates parted ways and each embarked on their own life path. They had occasional contact, but knew little of each other's paths. This trip to Yangcheng, Ding Ryushui originally didn't plan to contact her. However, with things on her mind, no one to talk to, feeling lonely in a foreign land, she got in touch with her roommate. Upon hearing Ding Ryushui was in Yangcheng, Zhao Su immediately rushed over to keep her company for a few days. Today, the two were scheduled to go to an exhibition. Ding Ryushui originally wanted to use the bustling exhibition to ease the pain of Lei Xiaoya's girlfriend breakup, but unexpectedly, getting up early today, ran into a ghost, stabbed early in the morning. Lin Xiaos, that scoundrel, didn't leave Yangcheng, didn't handle serious business, wandering leisurely with a young beauty. Yes, we're just fake lovers. But I've hinted to you. Hinted the fake act can become real. And you don't act. It's fine if you don't act. I could choose to delay for the sake of your serious business. But is that serious business? Along the way, Ding Ryushui had pent-up frustration. The car stopped, seeing them walking into the exhibition hall hand in hand. She felt the bottled-up frustration was leaking. Let's go, Zhao Su took Ding Ryushui's hand. Entered the exhibition hall together. The exhibition hall, showcasing the essence of global jewelry. Also a concentrated display for all jewelry companies in Daxia to make a name, polish their brands. All companies brought out their prized jewelry. There were huge jadeite raw stones weighing several tons, with a green luster like a heavenly window. There was a gigantic golden dragon cast entirely from gold, sprawled across a certain exhibition area. There were bracelets worn by the late empress of the Ruli royal family. There were one-to-one replicas of exotic treasures from the Daxia Palace, theoretically less valuable than the original, but here they might not be, since the replicas were made with more valuable materials, mostly gold. Lin Xiaosu glanced over, feeling the world is still full of wealth, these few hundred exhibition halls, the jewelry displayed in each, likely all worth in billions. The main theme of the jewelry exhibition was actually not competing on sheer value, more about brand design. They also witnessed the unique ingenuity of brand design, especially the jadeite. Jadeite is the most fascinating. Before it's revealed, no one knows what characteristics the jade inside has, so designing artistic items based on these characteristics requires high technical skills. People may have money, but the artistic level, craftsmanship level, is the basic theme of the exhibition. Leaving technique aside to focus on weight in gold, that's the Cole boss's thing. Brand designs from various companies broadened Lin Xiaosu's horizon. For example, this exhibition hall in front, its brand design style was bright and gorgeous. Gold, silver, jade, and gemstones all presented as bright elements. On the right, this exhibition hall took a completely opposite approach. Its design jewelry was fresh and natural. The Binyang green jadeite, priced exorbitantly, they designed it into a willow leaf. If this willow leaf is worn on a village girl's head, its similarity to nature's willow leaf reaches 80%. It's more suitable for buyers who are low-key luxury with depth. Yixiang looked here and there with a happy expression. Lin Xiaosu grabbed her hand. Is there any jewelry you like? Do you want me to buy you some? Yixiang was startled. No need. I see you quite like this willow leaf. Shall I buy it for you? Yixiang shook her head. This willow leaf costs over 100,000. Only a fool would buy it. I'd rather have brother pick a real leaf from a tree for me. I don't want this kind of willow leaf. Then I'll pick one for you later. All right, if brother gives it to me, I'll soak it in some solution, and I guarantee it won't change color for 100 years. Yixian giggled. The flower you gave me last time is still blooming in the bamboo house. That flower? Lin Ziasu's thoughts drifted back to the second time he entered Conch Valley. That time he not only entered Conch Valley, but also for the first time entered Yixian's Conch Valley. After sealing off the array that led to the ancient world, he picked a flower from the array platform and gave it to Yixian. Yixian told him, "This flower I soaked it in some solution. It will never wither for 100 years, brother. Come smell it whenever you're free." She was subtly telling him that she would always be waiting for him in the bamboo house. This is the passionate love of the Meow Girl. And it's a love vow only they can understand. As they brought it up again, their gazes met, and it seemed like they were the only two left in the whole world. However, what they didn't know was that, among the bustling crowd, two pairs of eyes were watching them. Ding Ruoshui and Jiaosu. Jiaosu's gaze lingered on the seemingly attached eyes. She sighed gently. "I suddenly believe in love a little. How about you?" Ding Ruoshui almost bit her lip through. She said bitterly, "I suddenly don't believe in love anymore." "No way. Seeing such a moving scene in the world, you don't believe in love. You're kind of twisted." "How do you know this scene is necessarily touching?" Ding Ruoshui snapped. "For all you know, that scumbag might have been traveling with his girlfriend and just had a sudden crush, dating two people at the same time." "You're too cynical." Jiaosu gently shook her head. Suddenly she exclaimed, "My brother is here too." Ding Ruoshui followed her gaze and saw a very ostentatious man. All white, even the belt was white, hair slicked back, hands in pockets, walking with a swagger that screamed disregard for others. Is this the man famous for the saying in Daxia's hot memes, "Zhao Gongzi will pay for everything"? The third young master of Jiangnan Group, Zhao Zhen. Lin Ziasu suddenly turned his head. As he did, he saw Zhao Zhen behind him. Zhao Zhen's handsome face broke into a smile. "Brother, I once invited you to come to Yangcheng, and you actually took almost a year to fulfill it. That's quite outrageous, and more so because you came to Yangcheng without calling me. So, how do you want to be punished?" His enthusiastic speech stunned the few people behind him. This couple has such an impressive background. Personally invited by Zhao Gongzi. Speaking so intimately. Which powerful family is he from? Lin Ziasu chuckled. "Punishment. It would just be helping you live up to your paying for everything reputation. Why don't you offer to pay for everything?" "Damn, Xinyu's antics haunt me everywhere." Zhao Zhen's face twisted. "I can't afford to pay for the entire jewelry expo at most. A single exhibition hall, and only for you." The crowd was dumbfounded. An entire purchase at the jewelry expo, that was clearly a joke. But what did Zhao Gongzi mean by his last sentence? A single exhibition hall. Can that really be? Lin Ziasu smiled. "Never mind, let's indulge your generosity somewhere else. How about the tea house up ahead? You pay for everyone there, and then we sit down for a chat." "Brother, ever since you found yourself a wife, you've matured, and as your older brother I'm really comforted. Come on." Zhao Zhen strode with a swagger, leading Lin Ziasu and Yixian into the tea house ahead. With a wave of his hand, one of his followers stepped forward, cleared his throat. "Today, Zhao Gongzi will pay for everything at the tea house." Everyone in the tea house was dumbfounded. Zhao Zhen laughed, waved his hand again, and his followers left the tea house, as Zhao Zhen led Lin Ziasu into a tea room. Outside the tea house, Zhao Su covered her forehead with her hand. "My brother, they've really played him." Ding Ruoshui didn't respond. "Ruoshui, do you want to go up and sit with them? My brother isn't a bad person, he's just too extravagant." "No, let's leave." Ding Ruoshui walked out of the exhibition hall elegantly. Inside the tea room, the service staff was very attentive. What kind of people do the service staff love the most? Those with the generosity of paying everything. If there's an extra element, it's being young and charming. Zhao Zhen, fortunate to have both, naturally had the service staff fighting to serve him. However, as the tea was served, Zhao Zhen seemed completely uninterested in their charming expressions. He waved his hand lightly. "You all may leave now." The hearts of the few waitresses sank. They could only leave. Lin Ziasu watched them leave, then slowly shifted his gaze to Zhao Zhen. Zhao Zhen's gaze also shifted from Yixiang's face to his. Brother, you came to Yangcheng for a reason this time, didn't you? Yes. Sister-in-law isn't an outsider, right? That question was odd. Lin Zaiyasu smiled. Of course not. Then I'll ask, what's the plan next? Chapter 372. Chapter 372. The person to visit, Lin Huayang. Tomorrow I have an appointment. I want to visit someone. Lin Zaiyasu lifted the teacup. Who? The founder of the Mountain and Sea Club, a boss with the same surname as mine. Lin Huayang, Zhao Zhen exclaimed. Do you know him? Of course, and I know a bit more about him than the average person. Lin Zaiyasu smiled. Tell me, what kind of person is he? Zhao Zhen began to speak. Lin Huayang, back then, was a university professor at Southern University. His academic direction was quite niche, focusing on biology, not bioengineering but ancient creatures. Currently, there are probably a dozen well-known university professors researching ancient creatures, such as Xiang Yixiu and Yin Dingxian from Nanjiang University. However, in his era, there weren't so many. Lin Huayang could be considered a lone pioneer in the field of ancient creatures research. If he hadn't switched directions midway, he might have become a grandmaster in this field. At the time, figures like Xiang Yixiu and Yin Dingxian compared to him were mere juniors. But he changed his path. The reason for his change: hostile foreign forces extended an olive branch to him. Not only did he refuse, but he also turned the insider trying to recruit him over to the Daxia court. That storm caused quite a stir. 13 professors and a vice president of a university were taken down, leading to significant national involvement and the start of a university anti-reactionary campaign. This move defended his reputation as a professor, but it also brought him immense disaster. His parents, wife, and children were all killed by enemy plots. He also sparked fear among others in the university, gradually making it impossible for him to continue there. Thus, he left his academic career and embarked on his legendary business journey. It must be admitted that, although this person is physically weak, his mind is exceptionally sharp. In the business world he thrived, amassing a billion-dollar fortune in just over a decade. He once again displayed an extraordinary side of himself. He didn't focus on expanding and strengthening his business empire as his primary goal. Instead, he viewed commerce as a way to accumulate his initial capital. After amassing $1 billion funds, he founded the Mountain and Sea Club. He wanted to present the exotic beasts from the mountain and river scripture to the public in a visual way. To identify the characteristics of these exotic beasts, to find their weaknesses. So, if someday the legends came true and the ancient wilderness broke through the realm, the human world would have strategies to deal with it. As Zhao Zhen spoke about Lin Huayang, her words lost their casual tone, subtly revealing a hint of respect. Lin Zaiyasu smiled slightly. So, your overall conclusion is that this professor is highly respectable. Based on current circumstances, he is undoubtedly respectable. However, people are inscrutable. Everyone only shows the side they want to show. Zhao Zhen said, why are you meeting with him? Strictly speaking, it's not me meeting him, but him meeting me, Lin Zaiyasu replied. Can you take me to tomorrow's meeting? Zhao Zhen asked. No. Then, I won't distract you too much today. After you meet up tomorrow, I'll contact you again. All right. The time from when they entered the tea room with Flair to when they left was merely half an hour. Afterward, Lin Zaiyasu and Yixiang toured the exhibition area of the expo hand in hand and arrived at the beach outside. The horizon and sea were one. The sand was white and clear. The wind carried a faint fragrance of flowers. People were as they were yesterday. A night of romance bloomed again, and the next morning Yixiang woke up early. Why? Because there was another visitor today. Blue Demon had made an appointment with him. She left her room, walking a turtle outside. Blue Demon saw her first, approached her and asked, "You're up so early?" Yixiang responded with a smile, "I get up even earlier back in the village, it's a habit." "What about him, is he up?" "I don't know, I heard noises from his room in the middle of the night, so he probably slept late. Should I call him?" "No need, I'll go directly." Yixiang sat on the bench, stroking the white turtle's head, feeling a bit nervous. "Is the bad brother up? Is the bed tidied up?" Blue Demon came to his room door, knocked, and Lin Zaiyasu opened the door. He was fully dressed, the bed was tidy, the kettle was boiling on the table, and the teacups had been washed. With the door closed, Lin Zaiasu spoke directly. I have another meeting today, so I don't have much time for small talk. I'll get straight to the point. All right. What are you planning to do about the life soul goo? The matter of the life soul goo. Blue Demon slightly wrinkles her brow. Headquarters considers this matter very important and has already dispatched 5 teams, starting from the exposed clues. Given time, there will be results, but the enemy is also very alert. In just one day, they've severed 3 connection lines. Since you proactively mentioned this matter, I feel you might have a way to reconnect the severed lines. Lin Zaiasu gently shakes his head. Can't you connect them? That can't be right. Blue Demon is slightly startled. His detective skills are extraordinary. The enemy severing the clues is nothing but silencing witnesses. Since it's about killing people, he should theoretically be able to trace the real murderer and gain some results by following the trail. On the way here, Blue Demon had already imagined whether to formally commission him for this matter, allowing the life-soul operation to have a powerful aid, and his detective agency to have a long-lasting source of income. A win-win situation. However, just as she started, Lin Zaiasu shook his head. It's not that I can't connect them, but I don't think this method is the best. Certainly not the best method, but undoubtedly the safest method, Blue Demon says. Safe. The word safe, in a deadly battlefield maneuver, sometimes has another synonym called missing the opportunity. Missing the opportunity. Blue Demon's gaze slowly lifts. Tell me your plan. The authorities should proactively release information, fully disclose the life-soul goo matter, inform all citizens, and let those afflicted voluntarily go to designated locations for testing and assistance. Blue Demon's heart races. Publishing this will cause public panic, which the top is strongly avoiding. Is panic better, or letting the enemy truly take lives? Blue Demon freezes. King Lanchin, when weighing 2 evils, choose the lesser. You know this better than I do. The life-soul goo infiltrates all trades, and you understand its harm better than I do. Thousands of elites are already standing on the edge of a cliff. One more step and it's an abyss. Daxia country is already riddled with holes. A national crisis is imminent. Can we still worry about public panic? Blue Demon slightly closes her eyes. Continue. Do your best to convince me. I don't need to use many words. I just need to remind you of one thing, Lin Zaiasu says. This matter, from our perspective, is a difficult problem posed by 9-headed snake. But from the standpoint of battlefield maneuvers, it's a rare opportunity to cut off 9-headed snake's roots. Blue Demon suddenly opens her eyes. Opportunity. Lin Zaiasu says, since ancient times, so-called crises always have opportunities. Battlefield maneuvers are the same. Life Soul Goo is a major project of 9-headed snake, and theoretically, all 9-headed snake bases within Daxia have participated. We launch a desperate counterattack, put ourselves in a dead end to survive, and certainly a large number of people afflicted with Life Soul Goo will step forward. And one of these people steps forward, they will surely bring out the pair of black hands behind them. In other words, if we save one person, they lose one person. If they decide to take drastic measures and kill these people, for every person they kill, they will expose one person. For us, this battle is very brutal. But for them, this battle is even more brutal. Because regardless of success or failure, they will face an existential crisis. Blue Demon slowly says, your drastic method has a fatal flaw. Have you considered it? What? Most of those who know they've been afflicted with the Life Soul Goo have already committed harmful acts against Daxia. They dare not step forward. Someone like Sun Jun from Changsheng Group, who testified against Li Yubin, is just an exception. Because he was only recently threatened, he hasn't substantively betrayed his country yet. Lin Zaiasu says, it depends on whether Chief Long can negotiate a policy. Policy? Yes, anyone who committed a major crime under the pressure of the Life Soul Goo, as long as they voluntarily step forward to expose the masterminds behind them, can redeem their crimes and be given amnesty. Lin Zaiasu stares into Blue Demon's eyes and says slowly, Chief Long, do you think it's feasible? If outsiders were present, they would definitely be puzzled about who he's speaking to. Chief Long. Where? Suddenly, within Blue Demon's eyes, a shimmering image appears. Within the image, an office, a figure. The office is very vague. The figure is also very vague, outline unclear, but a natural aura of awe surfaces. Perhaps this is the authority of the superior. The figure laughs. To capture my presence through the subtle shimmer in Blue Demon's dragon eye, you are indeed a superb detective, admirable. I don't dare. Lin Zaiasu stands up, bows facing the image. Chief Long gently sighs, his voice turning serious. You are right. Weighing two evils and choosing the lighter is an ancient principle, as is the idea that a crisis brings opportunity. Punishing criminals is a legal matter, but when it concerns Daxia's overall situation, the law is also flexible. I personally accept your plan, and I will immediately report to the top, striving to make it happen. Blue Demon and Lin Zaiasu exchange a glance. Both are invigorated. Chief Long says, Blue Demon. Here, you decide on the designated points. Discuss the arrangement with Little Sue. Yes. Chief Long's figure slowly leans forward as if trying to see Lin Zaiasu more clearly, his tone becoming gentle. Little Sue, when you have time, I invite you to visit headquarters. All right. Such a good young man, not bad. Chief Long lightly smiles, his figure vanishing. The faint shimmer within Blue Demon's dragon eye also disappears, truly vanishing. Only the two of them remain in the room. Truly just the two of them. Blue Demon gently smiles. Don't blame me for using this little trick, actually. This little trick is what the old man wanted to use, and I really couldn't refuse him. She refers to the fact that her dragon eye is shared with Chief Long. That's nothing. Anyway, what we were going to discuss, you would eventually have to report to him. Getting him personally involved is actually better. Lin Zaiasu is quite relieved. Blue Demon gently smiles. Do you know why he wanted to see you? The real reason is far more interesting than you think. Chapter 373. Chapter 373, Unexpected Events at Bai Shan Residence. Scandal, Lin Zaiasu was quite shocked. Blue Demon leaned in a bit. He's Chang Yi's adoptive father. Meeting you today in person is basically like in the mortal world, a father-in-law meeting his son-in-law. Lin Zaiasu broke out in a sweat. Blue Demon blinked gently. Now you understand why I gave you that well-intentioned warning when I left, right? If today your bed was a mess, if you had a random fling with little Yixiang, I'm not sure if this old man would still praise you with a pleasant smile. Lin Zaiasu continued to sweat. Blue Demon's gaze shifted lightly. So then, tell me the truth, did you really not mess around, or did you get up early today to clean up the traces of your random flings? Lin Zaiasu rubbed his forehead. King Lanshan, don't forget, you are the Qianlong king, not the leader of a gossip crew, and you just accepted your old man's orders with a bunch of things pressing on your shoulders, yet you still have the mind to gossip. With that remark, Blue Demon was finally steered back onto the right track. Blue Demon said, I designed a point, and I also found a job for little Yixiang. What? Blue Demon laid out her plan entirely. The point she designed was the Changsheng Group. Setting up a specific venue within the Changsheng Group to receive patients with Life Soul Goo from all over the country. The Life Soul Goo project cannot do without Yixiang. Yixiang must get involved. But she shouldn't be busy for nothing. She could propose for the Changsheng Group's State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission to offer Yixiang a special invitation, appointing her as a technological consultant for Changsheng Group. This job would last approximately 3 months, after which Yixiang could directly retire, receiving a monthly salary of around 10,000. Lin Zaiasu's heart stirred. This is accessing the state system. The pinnacle of his effort is the state system. What was his motivation for studying hard and taking the exam? Wasn't it the state system? The road on which he struggled tremendously but didn't succeed, Yixiang could casually traverse. And it's the kind of immortal job where after 3 busy months she could directly retire. This is pretty good. Very good. In my Ojiang, Yixiang, truth be told, has no way to make wealth. She helps fellow villagers treat and save, mostly as volunteer work. The villagers not having money plays into it, as does her inability to charge. She had thought of coming out to find a job before, but worried about her mother, she couldn't leave. Now that such work is offered to her, she's bound to be overjoyed. This time taking her out of Myojiang, he also thought of gifting her something, but knowing Yixiang wouldn't accept money, offering her a job where she could demonstrate her value while ensuring livelihood security surpassed anything else. Blue Demon's eyes flickered. Did you agree? What reason do I have to disagree? Lin Zaiasu laughed. You tell her. One phone call summoned Yixiang back. Blue Demon shared the plan with her. Yixiang's face reddened. Her eyes glimmered with happiness, but she didn't express her stance. She looked at Lin Zaiasu. Brother, what do you think? It's up to you. If you agree, I definitely agree. Yixiang nodded lightly. I agree. Great, let's go to Jiangcheng now, Blue Demon said. Little Su, You said earlier you have another appointment. Yes, you go on once I'm done. I'll find time to go to Jiangcheng and meet up with you. Blue Demon took Yixiang and boarded a flying car. Lin Ziasu, bearing Yixiang's longing gaze, hailed a taxi to a destination. Baishan Residence. The residence of Lin Weiyang, the owner of the Mountain and Sea Club. Seated in the taxi, Lin Ziasu squinted slightly, as a silhouette hovered in his mind. It was the person he was to visit today, Lin Weiyang. Before arriving at Yangcheng, he wasn't aware of this name. Lei Zioya informed him, saying there is a very fun place called the Mountain and Sea Club. The term Mountain and Sea Club reached Lin Ziasu's ears like this. He couldn't possibly pass the opportunity. Because in the world few are like him, so sensitive to ancient creatures. His perception of ancient strange beasts nearly all stemmed from the mountain and river scripture. From reading is never enough, seeing firsthand evokes feelings. He wanted to witness firsthand. The owner of this place is Lin Weiyang. On that island, he encountered Wing Blade. He met 2 remnants dispatched specifically by the Rai Zioao Temple to kill him. To rely on skill was laughing matter, at least under the premise of Wing Blade retracting its wings. If they made a move again, it would be called joking. However, their skill isn't what they rely on. Their actual killing move is the pill Lei Zioya gave him. There are signs indicating Mountain and Sea Club is a chain link in the enemy's plan. Thus far, he genuinely has a reason to suspect Lin Weiyang. However, after the mishap occurred, Lin Weiyang was the first to appear, presenting a very positive character image. Especially his motivation for establishing the Mountain and Sea Club, the impending breach of ancient wilderness, to provide the world a basic impression of these strange beasts and a straightforward sense of the future crisis to the upper echelon. He spared no expense of billions to construct such a club. This is a quintessential concern for country and people. Lin Ziasu, having journeyed far, had witnessed too many false fronts, and he couldn't possibly, based on this alone, record Lin Weiyang into the good person list. But yesterday, after long unconversed, Zhao Zhen described to him a Lin Weiyang he knew. Zhao Zhen is a Qianlong gold medal. They have fought side by side. His words Lin Ziasu trusts. Then the answer seems to have emerged. Lin Weiyang rejected the recruitment by foreign organizations, and in turn, reported the recruiter, causing the foreign organization's actions to be thwarted, resulting in the loss of all his closest kin. Could such a person be bad? The probability that this family gate professor is his fellow traveler has already reached 99%. However, as Zhao Zhen finally said, people are unpredictable. Thus, there remains that lacking 1%. Entering Baishan residence today, trust will either rise or fall. The taxi drove halfway up the mountain, and the view suddenly opened up. The mountaintop was shrouded in lingering morning mist. Below the mountain, the valley was filled with light fog. At every bend, you could see the turquoise sea, rolling with waves under the morning sun. With the car window open, the fragrance of wildflowers from Mayanbai Mountain could be smelled. The road was well organized, and every villa along the way was as exquisite as pictures in the mountains. Ahead was a white villa, serene and refined, imbued with an ethereal freshness. 3 large words were rounded and soft: Baishan Residence. "Sir, we've arrived," the driver said as he stopped the car. Lin Ziasu settled the fare, got out of the car, and approached the villa. A beautiful woman in hanfu approached gracefully, smiling slightly at him. "Sir, may I help you?" "I'm here by appointment, visiting Mr. Lin Weiyang." The woman's gaze lifted, her eyes shining brightly as she glanced him over, her smile even more amiable. "I've checked the boss's memo, Mr. Lin. Please come in." This was a robot. Entering the estate, there were countless beautiful robots. Some were trimming flower branches, others sweeping flower petals off the ground, some even planting vegetables. Indeed, there were robots planting vegetables. Throughout the villa, there were roughly a dozen visible robot beauties. At first glance, this Mr. Lin Weiyang appeared quite amorous, but if Lin Ziasu's heavenly Tao primordial spirit did not deceive him, these beauties had no openings beneath. On the white pavilion ahead, 2 people were present, a man in white sitting in a wheelchair, accompanied by the same beautiful robot Lin Ziasu had seen before, the one who went to the island with Lin Weiyang. Seeing Lin Ziasu, Lin Weiyang smiled gently, supporting the wheelchair as he slowly stood up. "Mr. Lin, please sit." Lin Ziasu stepped 2 steps forward. No worries, I just can't walk freely. Standing is still fine. Lin Weiyang extended his hand. Welcome, Mr. Lin. The beautiful robot bent down, picked up a teapot from the coffee table, poured a cup of tea for Lin Zaiasu, and handed it to him with both hands. Mr. Lin, please sit. Lin Zaiasu sat down, scanning the surroundings of the pavilion. Suddenly his heart leapt abruptly, so sudden. This glance was not ordinary observation. This was time retrospection. Under time retrospection, this pavilion seemed to step into a replay fast track, with everything that happened in the past 10+ days within the pavilion visible at a glance. With this glance, he was very unexpectedly found someone. An old acquaintance. How could this person be here? Lin Weiyang gently lifted a teacup. Detective Lin's skills are extraordinary. Have you found any traces of old acquaintances in my pavilion? Lin Zaiasu frowned slightly. Traces of old acquaintances. Have I had old acquaintances here? Lin Weiyang laughed. In fact, not just one old acquaintance, but two. However, these two acquaintances are not ordinary in the usual sense. They harbor deep resentment towards Mr. Lin. Lin Zaiasu's gaze lifted, full of confusion. Mr. Lin, why don't you speak directly? Who are they? One is Li Zi, daughter of the former CEO of the Changsheng Group, Li Chengsheng, and the other is a visitor from Fengcheng, named Liu Kaiyingsun. The light flashed through Lin Zaiasu's eyes. Li Zi, that's a person on a wanted poster. Mr. Lin, you're hiding beauties, don't you check who they are? I first met Li Zi in the business field. She treated me as a mentor. In her desperate situation, she sought refuge with me. At the time, I did not know she was a criminal. I took her in out of our mentor-student bond. Later, upon learning of the wanted notice, I hesitated about whether to turn her in but ultimately decided to leave it pending, awaiting a meeting with a significant figure who would make the decision. Lin Weiyang said, 10 days ago, when I arranged to meet you, I had already made up my mind that this decision I would leave in your hands. In your eyes, I am a significant figure. Lin Zaiasu smiled lightly. Yes. Why do you hold this absurd belief? Perhaps it's intuition. Intuition tells me that on this lonely path, you and I will be rare fellow travelers. Since it's rare to meet, everyone we meet holds weight. Which path are you referring to? With the ancient wilderness about to break through, we should be united against it, yet there are always a few venomous snakes biting from within, so someone must stand up, clear the traitors, remove the hidden dangers, raise the flag high, and fight the strong enemies. This is the only path for the human clan. Clear the traitors, remove the hidden dangers, raise the flag high, and fight the strong enemies. This is Lin Weiyang's declaration. Lin Zaiasu looked at him for a long time. This doesn't seem like a reason for you to risk illegal acts to shelter a fugitive. It can be. How so? Lin Weiyang said, sending them to prison is easy, but what do we gain? Just two more criminals. Compared to their potential business opportunities, doesn't Mr. Lin think adding two names to a prison list holds little significance? Chapter 374. Chapter 374. A man with two shadows and a place. What kind of business opportunities do they have? Their entire family was destroyed because of you. Because of Qianlong, this unique experience is their business opportunity. Understood, Lin Zaiasu nodded lightly. You hope they infiltrate the nine-headed snake. Yes. There are two issues, Lin Zaiasu said. First, the people of the nine-headed snake aren't fools. As soon as they know they're your students, regardless of their business opportunities, the nine-headed snake would still reluctantly give them up. Lin Weiyang smiled. No, on the contrary, knowing they are my students, the people of the nine-headed snake are even less likely to give up. Why? Because they will definitely try to actually turn the undercover agents we send in. Once that happens, this undercover agent can turn against me. Lin Zaiasu said, this is what I wanted to say as my second point. The second point is, what if they really get turned? Lin Weiyang smiled. That's exactly what I want. Lin Zaiasu raised his gaze, staring at him in surprise. Lin Weiyang said, only if they truly get turned will they have a chance to access the real secrets of this organization. Once they truly access it, everything they know will also be known to me. Is this some kind of miraculous technique? Lin Zaiasu asked. Lin Weiyang laughed. Let's assume it is such. Lin Zaiasu also smiled. This matter ends here. Are there any other topics? There's one, Lin Weiyang said. Pay attention to a person. Who? No one knows who he is, but he has two shadows. All right, anything else? The last point. There's one more place not within Daxia in the Middle East. What place? Lin Weiyang mentioned a place name. If someday you need to make a trip to the Middle East, anything related to this place, any person, any event, you must be extremely cautious. No matter how many knives in the world can kill you, there's one that comes from this place. Lin Zaiyasu stood up, thanks. Lin Weiyang also stood up, no need to thank. Farewell. Safe travels. Lin Zaiyasu strolled down, passing through the small bamboo grove ahead, scanning the grove with his gaze briefly before striding down Mayanbai Mountain. Lin Weiyang stood in the pavilion, his gaze directed at his retreating figure, until his silhouette faded into the mountain path. He spoke, have Z come over. The beautiful robot went to the small bamboo house, gently knocking on the door. The bamboo door opened, and Li Z, in a purple outfit, stood at the doorway, her gaze peering through the crack, watching the path Lin Zaiyasu took down the mountain. This was a very cautious pose. Teacher wants you to come over. Now, Li Z was a bit nervous. Yes. Li Z hesitated for a moment, turned back, picked up a trench coat, flipping it to cover her head completely, before she walked step by step along the bluestone path and reached the pavilion. Teacher. Lin Weiyang laughed, worried he's not far enough. Li Z said, he's a detective, his vision has always been legendary. More than just legendary vision. His secrets are far more than you imagine. Lin Weiyang said, actually, before I began speaking, he already knew you were in this villa and had locked onto your precise location. Li Zi's face changed instantly from within her raised trench coat hood. No need to be nervous, this is the liberation method I promised you. Lin Weiyang said, he's discovered you and hasn't made a move. Next, he'll tell Qianlong your wanted notice is nominally dead. Li Zi trembled all over. Why is this? Because for now, both he and I have reached a tacit agreement. We agree that you and your partner are very suitable for infiltrating the nine-headed snake. Li Zi's heart surged wave after wave. After a long time, she gently said, tainted undercover agent, right? Undercover agent, everyone understands. But with the word tainted, only those who understand will understand. Li Zi is not a fool, she grasped her teacher's meaning. The teacher and Lin Zaiyasu have reached a consensus that she and Liu Kangsun will infiltrate the nine-headed snake. To become a teacher's undercover agent. Becoming a teacher's undercover agent isn't a psychological barrier, but the teacher has reached a consensus with Lin Zaiyasu. Teacher, what kind of teacher are you indeed? Lin Weiyang slowly lifted his head. Z, in the 9 chapters of the Wisdom Book, real or illusory, friend or foe doesn't need formatting. The wise know the greater trend, recognize circumstances, are adept at leveraging, and master the shift. That's how one reaches small achievements. Li Zi gently breathed out, teacher, I understand. Understanding is good. This is your and your partner's identification. Lin Weiyang lightly tapped the wheelchair armrest. The armrest separated, revealing many interesting items inside. He took out 2 IDs, Wang Fang, Lin Ruo. These names seem too casual, but it's all right. Everyone understands it in their hearts. Just make do. Li Zi accepted the 2 IDs, along with a stack of data behind them. She bowed to the teacher and left the pavilion. Headed to a basement. In the basement, a woman with an explosive figure is training in the training hall. Bang! A tumbler was sent flying 10 yards by her. A thunderous explosion came from the basement. Her figure spun violently, rising over 5 meters, swinging a kick toward the beam ahead. The steel beam collided with her right leg. A muffled sound resounded. Suddenly, her legs crossed, seemingly leaping over the beam out of thin air, landing at the basement door, which simultaneously opened. Li Zi stood quietly at the door. Z, the young lady, was Liu Kangsun. Liu Kangsun, who practiced ancient martial arts, now had cultivation no less than her father's, perhaps even surpassing it. Kangsun, Lin Zaiyasu was just here. Li Zi uttered these words, causing Liu Kangsun's entire body to tremble. Exposed. Yes, we are completely exposed, Li Zi replied, but it's all right, the teacher and Lin Zaiyasu have come to an agreement. A series of words flowed from her mouth as Liu Kangsun's eyes widened, the teacher collaborating with that bastard Lin Zaiyasu, expecting us to do their bidding. Dream on. Even if I have to go to jail 1,000 times, it's impossible. I've decided, we will do it. Li Zi interrupted her, firmly speaking 7 decisive words. Liu Kangsun's expression changed like the clouds and wind. Z, Can you really forget the hatred of your family's massacre? Can you really serve the enemy? The teacher just explained the 9 chapters of wisdom to me. The virtual is real, the real is virtual. Enemy and friend need not be formatted. The wise know great trends, recognize great trends, excel at leveraging trends, and are adept at transforming trends. I've understood, I hope you do too. Liu Kangsun stared into her eyes, her chest gently rising and falling. As for Lin Zaiasu, he descended Mayanbai Mountain. Walking down, he was not alone on Mayanbai Mountain. He strolled while several others were jogging. The mountains were serene, the grass lush and flowers vibrant. The mountain wind blew, occasionally yellow leaves fell lightly. In Lin Zaiasu's mind, it seemed as if he experienced the cycle of flowers blooming and wilting. He went to Baishan residence, seeing Lin Huayang in person. The impression left by this professor-turned-boss was extraordinary. Before him, it seemed Lin Huayang made a major error right from the start, exposing his connection with Li Zi. However, he voluntarily laid out this connection before Lin Zaiasu, attaching a rather brilliant plan. He also told Lin Zaiasu about a person with 2 shadows and a place. Everything seemed to confirm his initial assertion. On this path, there aren't many people, so every fellow traveler is weighty. Fellow traveler. These 3 words need high concentration for today's meeting. Yet Lin Zaiasu didn't forget the mental storm that erupted in his brain upon encountering these eyes. His spiritual power surged. It was an unprecedented event. If the spiritual power surged, it indicated that someone was using a wondrous magic to browse his brain. If he didn't possess spiritual power, his brain would have been entirely red. He had spiritual power, and upon sensing the oddity, immediately constructed a defensive fortification, preventing Lin Huayang from accessing the secrets within his brain. Yet it left Lin Zaiasu highly shocked, for he realized Lin Huayang possessed subdivine skill, and his mastery of it far exceeded Lin Zaiasu's, reaching at least level 30. Lin Zaiasu had just reached level 20, while Lin Huayang was at level 30. What standard is level 30? Gazing into one's heart, even preliminarily possessing the means for virtual assassination. How does one kill? They release the secondary deity's power, erasing an ordinary person's consciousness with ease. If Lin Zaiasu didn't possess the subdivine skill himself, entering Bai Shan residence today, his life could well have been in Lin Huayang's hands, even if he couldn't lift or carry, walk tremblingly, basically requiring a wheelchair for mobility, yet killing an ordinary person is but a thought away. Speaking of his frail body, Lin Zaiasu found the root cause. Much like the ancient expert in the time-space river within him, what Big Yellow said. The law of heavenly Tao balance. Heavenly Tao preaches balance. If one aspect is overly prominent, another will weaken. Those 2 outstanding in subdivine skill. Early repercussions include frailty, mid-term repercussions are precociousness, leading to premature death. Eventual repercussions perhaps are heavenly punishment. Lin Huayang is frail. Isn't this the flip side of subdivine skill being too exceptional? Interpreted from a fantastical perspective. Also interpretable from modern technological biology theory. Organisms are peculiar. The brain seems to occupy a small proportion of the body, yet supporting brain activity requires considerable energy. An overly developed brain consuming all body energy inevitably leads to poor physical capabilities. Lin Zaiasu seems to be an exception. Because he practiced ancient martial arts, and specifically the rejuvenation secret technique with life force as the core foundation. For now, he isn't troubled by this, but the future remains uncertain. After all, reaching the ultimate level in subdivine skill, one can reshape the world, requiring unimaginable energy. Head by the roadside, a beauty sat on a rock, gazing toward the South Sea, her face exhibiting a hint of melancholy. Lin Zaiasu suddenly halted. The beauty on the rock slowly turned, her face half smiling, half not. I'm truly keen to discuss with my mother. If a man goes on a trip with his girlfriend, leaves her hanging for 9 days entirely like a kite with a broken string, does he qualify as a scumbag boyfriend? Chapter 375. Chapter 375. Ding Ryushui's Jianghu journey ends forever. Ding Ryushui. It can only be her. Lin Zaiasu laughed. If you go on a trip with your girlfriend and pull something like this, even if you're not a scumbag, you'd seem like one. But just seem like one. What do you mean? Are you trying to say that you were doing something important during these 9 days? Seemed like a scumbag, but essentially not one. Ding Ryushui glanced at him. Of course, I was handling important matters. Puh. Inside, Ding Ryushui spat in disdain, wanting to pull out a photo from her phone and slap it across the face of the guy in front of her. But she forced herself to hold back, pretending as if she knew nothing. Oh, what were you doing? It's a matter of national secret, concerning the great rejuvenation of Daxia, not convenient to disclose. Human survival and reproduction are the top priorities. Maybe I get it. Maybe you were indeed sprinting day and night on the path of Daxia's great rejuvenation. Ding Ryushui pouted and turned to walk down the mountain. Lin Zaiasu followed behind her, feeling as if this girl was playing a game of pursuit with him in Yancheng. If it were in a remote area, anyone trying to spy on him would have difficulty. But this logic doesn't apply in a big city. No matter how keen his sensing power is, it's impossible to monitor thousands of pairs of eyes around him all the time. Besides, when Yixiang arrived in this unfamiliar big city, she had the attitude of not knowing anyone and no one should know her. She was very close to him, hanging onto his arm wherever they went. It's reasonable if she saw. Throwing a small tantrum is actually understandable. Although she is not really his girlfriend, she did come out of Jiangcheng with him with the title of boyfriend and girlfriend. Lin Zaiasu felt responsible and obliged to comfort her. Don't overthink. I hired a helper to investigate a major case. Hired a helper, found a helper and held hands. Ding Ryushui stopped. I suddenly remembered when we were booking the tickets at Huixian Town, you mentioned unless. In principle, you would go to the expo with me unless you found a woman more beautiful and richer than me to do something more exciting with, remember? I remember. Then the question is, do you think she's prettier than me? Well, to be honest, it's about the same. Is she richer than me? That's absolutely impossible. Even the change in your account could suffocate her. Then why did you choose her? Because there are things only she can do. That's true. You and she do things that I indeed cannot do, Ding Ryushui said. I'm going back to Jiangcheng. From now on, the road is far in Jianghu and we'll never meet again. Lin Zaiasu didn't reply. Ding Ryushui was so angry that her hair stood on end. You bastard, you actually didn't respond. This is your way of comforting. Forcing me to say the road is far in Jianghu, never to meet again, you. Suddenly, she was slightly stunned, because she noticed Lin Zaiasu's gaze was directed forward. A car was ahead. There was a person in the car. The car was flashy, and the person even flashier. The car was a limited edition sports car, and the person was a limited edition playboy. First a date with the boss on the mountain top, then with a beauty in the mountain, brother, you are really busy. The limited edition rich kid in the car revealed a bright smile. He, of course, was young Master Zhao from the Jiangnan group, Zhao Zhen. He had been thinking since yesterday of visiting Lin Weiyang with Lin Zaiasu, but Lin Zaiasu didn't allow it, so he waited at the foot of the mountain. Can't help it, one has no choice but to be swept along with the waves in Jianghu, Lin Zaiasu said. Did you come specifically to pick me up? Actually, I had scheduled a few beauties today to discuss life. I had already forgotten yesterday's appointment, but I just received some explosive news. I contained my excitement and rescheduled the beauties to meet you first, brother, Zhao Zhen said. What news? Zhao Zhen said, about the life soul goo. Oh, this sister-in-law isn't an outsider either, just like yesterday's sister-in-law, right? Ding Ryushui's originally clear eyes turned into autumn ice rivers again, with small ice chips floating. Lin Zaiasu plopped into his car, rubbed his forehead. If you can't speak, say fewer words. Directly talk about the supposedly amazing news that theoretically isn't even a secret. Sister-in-law, please get in the car, let's talk while driving, Zhao Zhen said. She just said she's going back to Jiangcheng. Lin Zaiasu said, I'm not sure if she'd want to get on the car. Ding Ryushui directly got into the car. She closed the door with a gloomy face, very loudly. The car door was shut. The roof went up. The wind noise was gone. The car was quiet. Look at this, Zhao Zhen said. As his voice fell, a projection appeared inside the car. Announcement. The hostile forces outside the borders have targeted the elite across various lines in Daxia country, implementing the Life Soul Goo strategy, using some common drugs that secretly contain Life Soul Goo, making people ingest them unknowingly. Once the Life Soul Goo enters the human body, it will lie dormant in the brain. Once activated, it can kill in an instant. The enemy intends to use this insidious method to control the elites across various lines in Daxia, seizing the various secrets they hold. This action poses a root-severing disaster to Daxia country. Therefore, the Government Affairs Office Special Task Force has decided to establish a goo removal center at the Changsheng Group, allowing all citizens who realize they are under the influence of life soul goo to visit the center for goo removal. Anyone who reports the person who applied the goo will be granted amnesty for any crimes committed under the coercion of the goo threat. To help those under goo avoid the harm from those who applied it, an online reporting hotline is opened. Once a report is made, the Special Task Force will act immediately to ensure arrival within 3 hours and safely escort the informant. Below, the signature is from the Daxia Government Affairs Office Special Action Center. Stamped with a bright red seal. Lin Ziyasu's eyes lit up. Ding Rushui's eyes also widened suddenly. Her heart raced intensely. Life Soul Goo. The infiltration of hostile foreign forces. Entering through common drugs, making people ingest unknowingly, a special fragrance can activate it. Such an announcement has never been made before. But the suspicious drugs mentioned in the announcement, she actually had 4 tablets in her pouch. Moreover, she also smelled a certain fragrance on that island. That fragrance, she never understood it. When the remnant of the Dei Rai Xiao temple took it out, she was 100% sure it was poison. Theoretically, she should have been poisoned, but in fact she was. Could it be? The cold medicine her friend Lei Zioya made her take at the dining table was actually the kind of drug mentioned in the announcement that contained life soul goo. Lin Ziasu forcibly dug out the medicine she had already taken. Only then did the fragrance that could activate the life soul goo on the island become ineffective. In an instant, her heart was tumultuous with waves. "Brother, I really admire you," Zhao Zhen said. "In my life, I have never admired anyone, but this time I truly admire you. In just 9 days during your trip to Yangcheng, you managed to complete the entire process from observation to breakthrough to counteraction against an unprecedented huge conspiracy." Ding Rushui's gaze was firmly locked on the back of Lin Ziyasu's head. The trip to Yangcheng, just 9 days. He said he was on official business. A minute ago, this statement was hard for anyone to believe. But now she has no reason not to believe it. Lin Ziyasu smiled faintly. "I didn't do this alone. I know yesterday's sister-in-law was also a key figure, perhaps even the most critical one." Exactly. Her father was once a generation's witch god in Myojiao, and she inherited her father's legacy and should be considered the current generation's witch god. The main reason I came to see you today is to remind you that this has shaken the very foundation of Nine-Headed Snake. Nine-Headed Snake will launch a full-scale counterattack. My sister-in-law's safety needs to be placed as the top priority on your agenda. Rest assured about that. Lin Ziyasu's eyes had a hint of mystery. Yixiang's safety. At this moment, it was not his matter. Qianlong has already made arrangements, and Blue Demon, as a generation's heavenly king, is right by her side. Blue Demon's most formidable skill is the transformation technique. She can transform into anyone and protect Yixiang up close. Even if the enemy dispatches a heavenly king-level assassin, they won't succeed. Besides Blue Demon, there's something else, even more mysterious and powerful, existing out of sight of everyone, inserting itself into the blind spots of everyone's thoughts, even unknown within Qianlong itself. At the current sensitive timeline, I won't keep you in Yangcheng Zuoqing Mountain and Sea. Once this matter comes to a resolution, I'll invite you to Yangcheng, and the 2 of us brothers will team up to do something," Zhao Zhen said. "Is this matter urgent?" Lin Ziyasu asked. "Not urgent, but very important." "All right." Zhao Zhen laughed. "I once said, brother, whenever you come to Yangcheng, I'll give you a car. Today, this car is yours. At the intersection ahead, I'll get off and you can drive it back directly." "That won't be necessary," Lin Ziyasu shook his head. "Why, do you think I care much about this car worth over 10 million? Zhao Zhen raised a brow. "Please, I have more money than I know what to do with." "I know you don't care, but to be honest, I'm not impressed by your car," Lin Ziyasu said. "The chassis is low, not suitable for mountain roads, and crucially, the tires are limited edition. If they break, there's nowhere to replace them in small towns. You tell me, why would I drive such a purely ostentatious, headache-inducing, and money-burning thing? Please just send us to the high-speed rail station." Zhao Zhen was dumbfounded. "Brother, you're really used to being poor. All right, next time I'll give you something you like. Something nice. With one press of the accelerator, they were sent to the high-speed rail station. Lin Ziasu and Ding Ryushui got out of the car. Zhao Zhen drove back in his ostentatious limited edition sports car. Ding Ryushui slowly retracted her gaze from the distance. I think I really misunderstood you. Have you ever blamed me? Lin Ziasu was a little surprised. Ding Ryushui nodded. I have. Last night, lying on the empty large bed in the hotel, more than once I thought about turning you into a pig head right there, and in fact, 10 minutes ago, looking down at the cliff on the mountain road, I thought more than once about whether I should throw you down when you appeared. Lin Ziasu touched the back of his neck, feeling a little cool.